way. Let's start the show, full of charge. We just letting you know, it's all or nothing. We gon' put it down.
As we begin the month of November, we end the regular season for high school football. On this final Friday before the playoffs, we bring you a St. Johns County matchup between two teams who will be playing in the postseason, as Creekside visits Ponte Vedra in our Varsity 4 game of the week. Along with Justin Varney, I'm Cole Pepper. Justin, these two teams know each other very well. In fact, they played twice last year, once in the regular season and once in the playoffs. That was a back-to-backer, and now they wrap up the regular season here in 2023.
This has been such a good rivalry over the year, Cole. These two teams came into existence at the same time. Right now we're looking at Sean Ashenfeld, a Rutgers commit. He is a central part of this exceptional Creekside offense, and Creekside has had a good offense just about since they opened up. Sean McIntyre, the head coach now, he has been getting it done, and they're colliding with this unbelievable Ponte Vedra defense. We've seen Riker Kemp earlier this year in a game of the week, Cole. He's got 9 sacks and really that enforcer on that defensive line.
All right, let's go down to the sidelines and check in with the third member of our team, Elizabeth Campbell. Liz?
Goes into the end zone. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Sharks.
Good evening, guys. So the sun is officially down. It is time for Friday Night Lights. We just had kickoff, and it is an exciting night here, I can tell you, at Ponte Vedra High. Not only is it the last game of the regular season, but also senior night. 20 of these teenagers playing their last game of their high school career, at least for the regular season. I want to show you the crowd really quickly. It is packed out here at Ponte Vedra High. A lot of excitement. I spoke to both two coaches within the last 20 minutes, and they're excited, but you can also tell that they are understanding what this game means. That's your Fair and Fair sideline report. Back to you.
All right, thank you. We'll have more from the sidelines throughout the course of the game. And Brian Case gets the first carry for Ponte Vedra. Already over 1,000 yards for the season for the second straight year. And Justin, we saw Case early in the season against Bartram Trail. Very strong runner for the Sharks.
Very strong runner, and really kind of central to what they do on the offensive side of the ball. He's a 1,000-yard back last year. He's over that number again, and everything really starts with that offensive line of Brian Case.
Drew Price, the quarterback for Ponte Vedra, throwing to the right side, and this one is caught. First down for the Sharks. Banged out of bounds over on that right side.
Pass complete.
And one of the things that we've seen from Price, very good decision maker, will be very strong in terms of throwing the ball to the right spots.
And we saw it in the week 2 game against Bartram Trail. A lot of the passes he had to Camtizzi on the short routes, and he just let that play develop and let his receivers work and had success with that.
On 1st and 10, give it to Case again, running right. Plenty of room for Case. Another first down for the Sharks as he plows into Creekside territory.
We saw this same kind of starts against Bartram Trail in week 2. Very quick drive, first one of the game, and they moved the ball in chunks, and they are already on the Knights side of the field.
That Bartram game was week 2 after losing the opener at Nice. We didn't know how good Nice was at that point. Ponte Vedra came back to beat Bartram Trail 28-21. And ball's on the deck here. Creekside says they've recovered a fumble, and they have. Tice Donnelly gets off the pile with the ball in his hand. That's a big defensive play for one of the top defensive players in the area, Tice Donnelly, who just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
We were talking about Tice Donnelly earlier today, Cole, and what an impact he's had. He's had a great season here, and right off the bat, first drive of the game, he is showing what he is made of. And Creekside defense, not one of the top units in the area. We think about offense with Creekside, but man, defense on that first drive of the game for the Knights.
They also have not created a lot of turnovers. They're -5 as a team coming into today, so that's a big boon there. They'll start it off on the ground with Harrison Garrido, another 1,000-yard rusher. He ran for 1,328 yards a season ago. He's over 1,000 yards this year and closing in on 3,000 for his career.
The Knights kind of found a good luck charm in Harrison Garrido. Nicky Williams was kind of the guy for the last 2 of the last 3 years, and he got banged up, and Garrido came in, and he has been an MVP just about from the moment he set foot on the field with the Knights.
And they give it to him out wide this time. Able to gain forward to the midfield stripe. It'll bring up third down. Now you've got two quarterbacks on this matchup who both run the ball very well. Both are second on their teams in rushing. Both have 1,000-yard backs. And you don't have necessarily superstar receivers, but you have a good receiving core on both sides. Here is Garrido right up the middle, running in behind Josh Kime, the center, and he's forward for a first down.
Between Ashenfelder on the ground and Harrison Garrido on the ground, you know that something's coming right at you, probably 8 out of the 10 plays, and they dare you to stop them, and not a lot of teams have had that success against this Knights offense.
5 seniors on the offensive line for Creekside. Ashenfelder to throw, looked downfield, incomplete. Tried to get it to Caleb Taylor Birch, and Birch could not hang on to it. And couldn't get his hands to it, so it brings up second down. But you can see what Creekside wants to do: establish the run, work off play action, throw on early downs if possible, and let the ground game of that offensive line do some work.
Yeah, and if it's worked for you so many times in Sean McIntyre's 8-year tenure here on Longleaf Pine, why deviate from it?
Here is Ashenfelder on the rollout. And this one is tipped and almost intercepted. Was not controlled until it was out of bounds, but what a play defensively by Ponte Vedra on a ball to the side. That was J.M. Pollock.
If he had maybe another 3 feet of field, I think he probably corrals that ball, and we're looking at another change of possession.
And the strong side linebacker, oh, look at this. So close. Couldn't quite get the foot in.
Doing his best Garrett Wilson impression there. Try and one-hand that grab. Great play by Pollock, though, to break that up.
So on third down, Ashenfelder will run it, and didn't find much room running to the left. So this brings up an interesting decision for Sean McIntyre here early on. Creekside at 5-4. They won the district championship this year for the first time in school history. Their losses have been all to top teams. They have 4 losses this year. All of the teams ranked in the state's top 70. Ponte Vedra, by the way, ranks 53rd in the state. So another tough opponent here for Creekside. They'll go for it on fourth down, try to swing it out to Garrido, who may have taken his eye off of it. So over on downs, Creekside cannot capitalize on the turnover on their first offensive possession.
You look at Creekside's losses this year. They had, we talked to Sean Ashenfelder this week, and he said a lot of people wrote us off after we started 0-3, but you get on the win column with a win over Bartram Trail, and you keep on keeping on. They've lost to Rains. They lost to Mandarin when the Mustangs were full strength back in week 1. They lost to Spruce Creek. They have lost to some quality teams, so no slouch by Creekside.
Yeah, after the 0-3 start, the only loss since then was against Rains. Might be the best Rains team we've seen. Ponte Vedra keeps it on the ground with Case, and he's forward to the 50-yard line, gaining 9 on first down. Both these teams got their first win of the season against Bartram Trail, ironically. For Creekside, of course, that is a major rivalry, the #1 rivalry. But anytime you have a matchup against some of these St. Johns County teams, there's plenty on the line. Quick throw out to the far side. Down the right sideline is Cam Teetsy. He's got a first down.
Mentioned that Cam Teetsy early on, Cole. We saw that same type of offense against Bartram in week 2, where it was the short, intermediate, 4, 5, 6, 7-yard throws to Cam, and just let him stretch that into what he could. He actually ripped off a touchdown against Bartram on a very similar play, where it was a short out route, and he made a spin move and went down the sideline for a touchdown. So don't try to deviate from what's worked for you so long this season.
And he's dangerous with the ball in his hands. Give it to Case again, trying to get to the outside. Stiff arm, turns the corner, and then creates some contact before he's bumped out of bounds inside the 20. It has been an impressive go for Ponte Vedra offensively here in the first quarter, save for the fumble. Case last year had 21 touchdowns on the ground. It comes into tonight with 15 rushing touchdowns. Quick throw left side. This one caught Jack Berquist. Berquist gets a block and is pushed out of bounds near the 5-yard line.
Quick recovery for Ponte Vedra. You fumble on your first drive, you stop Creekside, and then 5 plays later, you're knocking on the door for potentially the first points of this rivalry game.
We have seen this season when Ponte Vedra is in a groove offensively, they are explosive. Hasn't always been as consistent as Steve Price would like, but their high points have been phenomenal. Give it to Case, and he's in for the touchdown. Brian Case with his 16th rushing touchdown of the season, and Ponte Vedra is on the board first.
Steady dose of Brian Case and those short intermediate passes. We've seen it before, Cole, and I think we're going to see it quite a bit here again tonight. First touchdown of the game, and it's Brian Case in the end zone. Called that name quite a bit over the last 3 years.
It is senior night, as Elizabeth mentioned. 20 seniors on this Ponte Vedra roster playing their last regular season home game. Likelihood is that they'll get at least one home game in the playoffs. Here's the extra point from one of the best kickers in the area, Noah Ash, who is now 30 out of 31 on PATs this season. Ponte Vedra with a 7-0 lead here in the early goings. Well, it's not just senior day for the football players, for others involved with this game. Let's check in with Elizabeth.
All right, so joining me now is the Ponte Vedra Sharks cheerleading head coach, Angie Baselli, and you have your 4 seniors with you right now. What a special night. How are y'all feeling?
Well, I've known these girls since they were in 6th grade, and I coached them at Landrum, and so we had a lot of tears earlier tonight, but it is a very special night, and I'm just excited to see these girls shine for this final regular season game. So they're incredible.
And how exciting is it to be here supporting the football team and hoping for that win?
We're banking on it. Let's go Sharks, right?
Go Sharks, right? Go Sharks! Let's go Sharks!
Well, that is certainly a familiar face on the sidelines, along with Elizabeth, Angie Baselli, and your cheerleader, band, or football player. This is a big day for you, and this kickoff is kicked into the end zone, and a break for Creekside after it was mishandled just a bit there by Jackson Earl. And bring the offense back out after a touchback.
Fortunate that ball went into the end zone. You're Jack, you don't want to try and pick that up off the 1, and after bobbling it and try to bring that out far, you're probably looking at starting inside the 10. So fortunate bounce for that ball to carry him in the end zone and become a touchback. Creekside 80 yards to go.
Well, we'll see how the Knights respond after the Ponte Vedra touchdown. This is a Creekside team averaging 31 points per game, so certainly a capable offense. And Garrido spinning between the hash marks on the first down run, picks up 5. Justin, if you were, without looking at any of the numbers, if you have a Ponte Vedra Creekside game, I think the expectation would be high-scoring game. These two teams always seem to play games that take at least 30-35 to win.
Yeah, and I go back to years ago when it was Greg Stanton and Mike Lloyd leading these first-year programs and them building just what would become a great rivalry, and how close some of those first games were outside of the first year, but some of those games from 2009 on, and how good and competitive they were, even in the playoffs one year. It's certainly been one of those high-scoring, back-and-forth rivalries.
Ashenfelder to throw on 3rd down. Leaping catch made for a first down across the 35, hauled in by Rocco Ripa. This is a Creekside group that is fighting a few injuries at this point in the year, and Ripa's been put into a greater role as a slot receiver, and he hauled that one in. Well done. So a opportunity for the water break here with 6:57 to play in the first quarter. Yeah, whatever that looks like, we certainly want to see the expectation of this these games going up and down the field, because both of these offenses have some real playmakers on them.
Yeah, Caleb Taylor-Birch at receiver. You mentioned Garrido quite a few times already. Cam Teetsy, Brian Case, Drew Price. So many playmakers, so many weapons on these two teams. And I think it starts up front with the offensive line, too, to have as much success as Brian Case has had, to have as much success as Harrison Garrido have had. The big guys in front of you, moving the ball, knocking it down, knocking the defenders down. Credit to those guys. They're capable of producing quite a bit of yardage.
And Creekside is without Aaron Sataris, who was going to be one of the key players in the receiving corps, but he's out for the rest of the year with an injury. Go on first down. Aschenfelder looking long, throwing downfield, and overshoots Caleb Taylor-Birch. Good coverage by Davis Latina on the deep route. It'll bring up second down. But that really fits with Creekside's approach. Play action and throwing on early downs.
Set it up, soften it up. Hope to get the long ball. Aschenfelder has probably more success as that dual threat quarterback. When you got a back behind you like Harrison Garrido, 1,000-yard back, big explosive back, and Sean too, more than a dozen rushing touchdowns. So in his career. So it's nice to have the ability to throw, but I'm more worried about Sean as a quarterback who gets out of the pocket and does something with his feet.
He's a terrific athlete. Sean McIntyre says he's our best football player. Now here's Garrido. Garrido running for 9. And you can see how dangerous he is, hiding in behind that big offensive line and then just popping out of there. It's been the bell cow for this offense. And he gets it again on a short yardage play and has the first down.
Nice drive going here for Creekside after starting at its own 20. Denied on downs on your first drive inside Ponte Vedra territory, trying to get something going here. Difference between this game this year and last year, we'll talk about in a second, Cole, but you already know you're in the postseason.
Aschenfelder under pressure, and down he goes. 3 Sharks were back there, including Riker Kemp and Martin Geary. So this defensive front for Ponte Vedra that came in with 29 sacks on the season as a unit gets number 30.
Riker Kemp and Martin Geary, 2 guys. Called their names quite a bit in that Bartram Trail game. Riker is just a monster, and Martin Geary, too, more than a half dozen sacks.
Set up for the short one, and breaking free here is Caleb Taylor-Birch. First down and more, down to the 10-yard line. They're going to mark him out at the 14, but it was a quick hitter there after picking up that sack. Creekside able to respond in a hurry.
That's what this offense does. Big plays, you can stretch the field. You got to worry about that pass.
Now another quick one out to the near side. Rocco Ripa's got it, gets a block, and is down inside the 5-yard line. Both of these offenses have been showing some capability of making big play, throwing downfield, running, or in the short passing game.
And they're doing well doing both of those.
Here is Garrido, upended as he got to the 3-yard line. Geary made the tackle, and there is a player down. That is Tyler Flack, the big offensive tackle for Creekside, down on the play. 6'6", 285. And we mentioned everybody is senior on that offensive line. In fact, the top 6 offensive linemen are all seniors. Eddie Clark will sometimes be brought in as a 6th offensive lineman, tackle eligible tight end situation. So it's a veteran group. This is a terrific rivalry that, Justin, traditionally has been the last game of the regular season for these two teams. Both started playing the same year.
Both opened the same year. I was working in St. Augustine when these two schools opened, and from the outset, this was a fantastic rivalry. They played twice in that first season. In 2008, they both split. Ponte Vedra has leading this series right now, 10-7. They had a streak of 7 in a row, and they met twice in the playoffs. Both Sharks wins back in 2011. Creekside had a very good team. They just could not get past Ponte Vedra back in the Mike Lloyd era, and last year, of course, two meetings last year. Creekside had to beat Ponte Vedra to get into the playoffs last year. They did, and then immediately got Ponte Vedra in the first round of the playoffs, and the Sharks won.
They measure for a first down. The ball just inside the 3. It is a first down, so it'll be first and goal from there. Yeah, Sean McIntyre, I think by everybody's estimation, one of the best coaches in the area. We talked last week about the survey. He was one of those receiving high marks from his peers, and he had not beaten Ponte Vedra until last year's regular season finale, then turned around and had to play him again in the playoffs and lost. So first and goal now for Creekside, trying to tie things up here in the first quarter. Ashenfelder clapping the hands, now stepping away. They bring a tight end in motion, give it to Garrido, breaks one tackle, another, and finally pulled down. A lot of work for a 1-yard gain for Harrison Garrido.
I remember I went out to practice last year and talked to Sean McIntyre when they were just outside the number 8 bubble in that region, and Sean said even though with the final closing stretch, he felt confident if they could win their last 3 games, they'd be in the postseason. And then
Garrido again reaching for the goal line, and he is in for the touchdown.
Second effort there. Sean McIntyre knows how to call offense, and he is leaning on his big back here with Garrido. He's delivered time and again, and that second effort gets him in the end zone.
Well, this one is shaping up to be another classic as our Varsity 4 game of the week. We've had some good ones.
Harrison was hit 3 times before he got in the end zone, shrugged off 2 of those in the backfield, and still managed to get across the goal line. He is not that big 6'2" kind of back like Derrick Henry, but man, he is effective and he can shake off some tacklers. Seen it time and again, and another one right there. We got a tie ball game.
Evan Marshard with the extra point, so it's 7-7 here with 4:02 to play in the first quarter, and both offenses looking very strong here in the early stages. Last year, Creekside went 6-5. As we mentioned, beat Ponte Vedra 26-21 in the regular season finale, made the playoffs, only to turn around and travel to Ponte Vedra and lose 49-36. So, again, the expectation is there'll be some points scored in this one.
From George Moore Chevrolet, check out their social media sites, or you can enter right outside the Shark Tank.
The kick from Marshard, and this one goes into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. Ponte Vedra will begin at their own 20-yard line.
Every Tuesday night, meet the top high school football teams in the area. Every week on our The 10 O'Clock News, catch the Varsity 4 Super 10 rankings. That's every Tuesday. The 10 O'Clock News comes on around 10:50, and only a couple more of those left before we turn the page to the winter sports. Of course, Cole will have the playoffs going strong, but our rankings will be put to bed a couple weeks from now.
On their last drive, Ponte Vedra was explosive and worked quickly, and now can't get the drive started. They'll have to take the first time out of the half. So Steve Price will call his team over and have a chat. The former North Florida Christian head coach and a guy who wrestled when he was in high school, says he always appreciates the guys in the trenches who can get physical, and both the offensive and defensive lines have been playing very well for Ponte Vedra of late. Well, we're in the last weekend of the regular season. Playoffs coming next. Justin, here is your News 4 Jack Super 10.
Yeah, all kinds of big games going on tonight. Of course, we had a few last night. Reigns with the perfect regular season. They beat Atlantic Coast 48-0. That's the first unbeaten regular season for Reigns since 1997. And, of course, local fans know what happened that year. They won a state championship. Nice, number 2, St. Augustine, a big win over number 6 Mandarin, 38-26 last night. Bowls 4. Bradford 5, Mandarin 6.
Case gets the carry right side.
It'll be Case to start this drive for Ponte Vedra.
Ponte Vedra, number 7 in our Super 10. Oakleaf, number 8. Fleming Island, 9. And Flagler Palm Coast, 10. Quite a few of those teams in action tonight with playoffs on the line.
It would be tough to make a case for Creekside in the top 10, but when you talk about their schedule, I don't think anybody has played in any tougher a schedule than Creekside has this year.
They've played a tough schedule, and they were in my Super 10 for a couple weeks. Fell out after that loss to Reigns, though.
As Sean McIntyre said on his gravestone, it'll probably say Sean McIntyre, he wasn't scared. Deep ball downfield. This one knocked away. Tried to get it to Teetsy. And well defended by Danny Aprobato and Jackson Earl for Creekside.
It's like Jackson came over with that pass breakup, got a hand on it, and swatted that down. Ball hung up in the air a little too long, and Jackson came over. Great defensive play there to get in front of his receivers. Catch radius.
Earl had the game-clinching interception last year against Ponte Vedra. Moved from safety this year to play some cornerback. Price to throw it for PV, and he connects. Jack Berquist with a catch and has the first down past the 40-yard line. So Berquist, the taller of the Ponte Vedra receivers at 6'3", rangy out there to haul this one in.
Good catch. Little seam route right there, and not used to seeing Ponte Vedra take these shots a little farther down the field like the one we just saw. The previous incompletion in this to throw right there.
Price is going to run it and has some room. Price has the first down and just tiptoes around Earl and runs out of bounds in Creekside territory after a gain of 21. Price has run for 430 yards coming into this ball game. Last year, played in 9 games, didn't run quite as often or as effectively, but they've found reason for him to run the football this year as he's been the full-time starter. David Doherty in motion for Ponte Vedra. Give it to Brian Case again. Finds a little seam on the right side. Breaks one tackle, then another. Has a first down inside the 30-yard line.
Methodically going down the field. The design quarterback run and then the handoff to Brian Case. And this offensive line moving this Creekside defense out of the way. Good moves there by Brian Case to get a first down.
We talked about the 5 seniors for Creekside on the offensive line. Ponte Vedra has 4 juniors and 1 senior, Rocco Garcia, the left guard. This is a group that, by and large, will be back together next year.
Yeah, and when you consider they lost Jake Ornera at center, Landon Akla, tight end, who was an all-area selection for me last year. Ponte Vedra team doing very, very well this season to not miss a beat.
Case again on the carry. Earl on the tackle. We've said both of those names quite a bit here in the first quarter. So take another look at Case trying to get to the outside on first down. Inside 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. Steve Price had glowing things to say about the environment that he gets to coach in at Ponte Vedra. Quick throw. This one caught by Case and carries the defender on his back near the first down marker, maybe a yard shy. It'll be 3rd and a yard.
And Steve Price, I remember when he was hired at Ponte Vedra, talking to him on a Zoom, just how excited he was to take over. And it was a different situation at Ponte Vedra. He came from NFC out in Tallahassee, and very prestigious perennial playoff team, multi-time state champion, and a much different situation here at Ponte Vedra, and one he has grown to love from the minute he set foot on campus.
Well, there were some big shoes to fill, no doubt. Matt Toblin left Ponte Vedra and took over at Bowles, and the high expectations remain. Case on 3rd down, running for a first down inside the 15-yard line.
This Ponte Vedra team is a team that played for a state championship under Matt Toblin, undefeated before they ran into Plantation American Heritage, and a team that featured Patrick Sertan at cornerback and his father head coaching, and Mitchell, Mr. Football at Ponte Vedra, and Nick Troney at quarterback, one of the best high school football quarterbacks I've ever seen.
1st and 10 now from the 14. Price to throw, and looking for Case, but whistles blow and flags flying at the snap. It will be a false start call against Ponte Vedra. It's been a pretty clean first quarter, penalties-wise. This one goes against PV. Last week, Ponte Vedra beat IMG White. That's the second team for IMG, not the top national power, but a 27-14 win.
They dominated that game. They're up 27-0 in that game before a little bit of a comeback by IMG White late in the game. But nonetheless, you go down and you win in Bradenton. That's pretty darn impressive.
One of the things that Steve Price said about that game, as Drew Price runs it, is that they treated it as a dress rehearsal for a road playoff game. They might have to go to Niceville or Leesburg or someplace in the playoffs, so why not get on a bus, take the trip, go through the process, and work out any logistical challenges that might come up in the postseason. That's the end of the first quarter. Ponte Vedra and Creekside in a good one here, 7-7. After the first 12 minutes of play, we have seen some outstanding offense thus far. Just the one turnover by Ponte Vedra, the only way that they were stopped. Creekside going over on downs. As we look ahead to the second quarter, and more from this St. Johns County matchup.
Switch gears to some Jaguars football. Cole, it's not been promising this year, but we still talk and cover the Jaguars like they're having a great season. The News for Jags podcast, you can get that wherever your favorite podcasts are found. And if you like reading instead of listening, we've got the News for Jags newsletter. Subscribe at newsforjags.com/newsletters and have Jaguars news delivered straight to your email inbox.
Tomorrow going to be a tough one, or rather Sunday going to be a tough one in Philadelphia with all the Jaguars injuries, of course. See how Doug Peterson does in his second return to the city of brotherly love. As we get ready to start the second quarter, Ponte Vedra on the move offensively. Ponte Vedra's 2 losses this season. Opener against Nice, as we mentioned. Then they lost a game to Fleming Island on a last-second field goal. And field goals figured prominently in that game. We'll get into that here in just a bit, tell you more about that. But they are maybe one play away from being on a 9-game winning streak. Handed off to Case, inside the 15, inside the 10, and taken down.
Brought down by number 11, Colton LaVille, but not before another Ponte Vedra shot.
Case and the offense for Ponte Vedra, very impressive. Give high marks to the offensive line. 6 foot, 200-pound senior, has 6 100-yard rushing games this season, working on another. Over the last 2 years, he's run for over 2,400 yards.
This is a big game for both of these teams.
Here's Case again into the end zone, his second touchdown of the ball game. Brian Case puts Ponte Vedra back on top.
A big game for both of these guys, Cole, and the Sharks doing with the bread and butter and running with Brian Case. But it's big because Ponte Vedra not a district champ like Creekside. They're locked into that 4 spot right now. So, yeah, you would technically host right now. If the beach side, Ponte Vedra, would be round 1. You would get to host that game as Ponte Vedra. That's why you need to win this game. You can't afford to slip down in the rankings. So even though Ponte Vedra not a district champ, you still have the potential to host a first-round playoff game.
Extra point by Noah Ash is good. Ponte Vedra extends to a 14-7 lead. Yeah, there have been some changes over the course of the last, well, let's call it 3 years now. We've had sort of 3 different settings over the last 4 seasons in terms of the way that teams are grouped and playoffs and so forth. And Steve Price saying, listen, I'm not smart enough to be able to keep up with all these changes. I just know we're going to go out there and try to win because it might wind up mattering. And he doesn't really know any other way other than keep the foot on the gas.
Keep the foot on the gas. And Creekside, very similar as well. You're a district champ. You're a 5 seed. And right now you would host Flagler Palm Coast in the first round of the playoffs, even being a lower seed. Now's a good time to remind you, if you want to stay in tune and what's going on around the area, hit that QR code on your screen, and that'll take you for a spin all around the scoreboard in the area right now. See what games are going on and who's ahead in those games. That QR code for a trip around the Varsity 4 landscape.
Here is Noah Ash, who has kicked it through the end zone every time he's kicked off this year, but 2, one into a 20-mile-an-hour wind, the other on a rainy night. He is a real weapon, basically a guaranteed touchback, and just a tremendous kicker. And he lined up for a 57-yard field goal against Fleming Island, that Steve Price swears he made. He thought that the official didn't get a good look at it because he was racing back for it, didn't realize it was going to be that long of a field goal attempt. And in that game, Fleming Island winds up winning on a last-second field goal, ironically. So there have been some moments. Hopefully we get a chance to see Ash show off that leg at some point in this ball game. Ashenfelder on first down from the shotgun, going to throw deep, looking downfield, and it is incomplete. Trying to get it to Eros Toffer, a senior who has been one of the top targets this year for Creekside. But we continue to see first down, deep passes called by the Knights.
Yeah, a couple of those so far, and Ponte Vedra even took one on the previous drive that Jackson Earl swatted away. So trying to keep that secondary honest with some of these long passes.
Ashenfelder will give it off. Garrido running up the middle, doesn't find much room. It'll be a gain of 2, maybe 3, and it brings up third down and long. Now, Ashenfelder not only is the top star for this Creekside team, he also is an outstanding baseball player. Has hit over 300 in all 3 seasons he's played varsity baseball. 79 hits in 77 career games for the Knights on the baseball field. Team captain, and Sean McIntyre couldn't stop saying good things about him when we talked earlier this week. Ashenfelder trying to run it and is grabbed and thrown down.
Had he made one man miss, he would have had a big gain right there. Not what you want to see at the end of that play, of course.
Ooh. Down after tackled hard by Cotter Otteson.
Injured Creekside player is number 2, Sean Ashenfelder.
And if Ashenfelder has to miss any time, Jackson Visconti is the backup. Hasn't played much, has thrown only 13 passes this year. But take another look here at the end of this play. See Otteson grabbing him and came down hard on that left shoulder. And for at least one play, Ashenfelder is going to come out.
Good Creekside athletic trainer team led by Ryan Boyer. Camouflage hat there.
And that'll bring up fourth down into the punt situation for the time being. So we'll see if Ashenfelder has to miss any snaps. He is also the holder for kicks, so that could come into play. Here's Evan Marchard, bouncing snap back to him, gets it away. His first punt of the game. Takes a Creekside bounce and then checks up at the 40 and rolls back to the 41-yard line. So Ponte Vedra will have a short field here to work with as they come back out with a 7-point lead.
Knights get away with some damage control there off that weird snap last week, Cole. Riverside not as fortunate to get away with the bad snaps. Remember that one of the last drives of the game was a snap over the quarterback's head and wound up having to punt it away, and Ed White gets the punt and drives the field for the eventual winning score.
Well, let's see how Ponte Vedra comes out here. They have been stopped only by their own mistake in this ball game. 3 drives, 2 touchdowns, and a fumble. Price throwing, and another turnover. Tried to find David Doherty, and it was picked off by Jackson Earl, his 3rd interception of the season. What a job by Earl to pick this one off and give Creekside the ball right back.
What a game he's having, and we're not even at halftime yet. He had a pass breakup on the previous drive on a long ball, and he goes up top shelf there and reels in the pass, holds on to it, the contact on the ground. Great game by this young man, and only about 15 minutes into this one.
And now the question, well, was that too soon? Did they not give Ashenfelder enough time to rest up the shoulder? He's back in there, though. We'll get it going from the 40-yard line on 1st and 10. Give it to Garrido running right. Had a little seam, then tackled around the shoelaces by a fired-up Robbie Greco, a defensive end, playing with some energy. This Ponte Vedra team, 34 sacks as a unit, 29 of them coming from the defensive line coming into today. Garrido again right up the middle like a shot out of a cannon.
Man, he hits that line in second gear. Man, he is quick. Here's Garrido. Hit that with some emphasis on that carry.
So from Ponte Vedra territory, Ashenfelder off play action has a wide open receiver. It's caught. Eros Toffer's got it down to the 10-yard line. Everybody bought the play action on the fake to Garrido, and then Ashenfelder able to find Toffer wide open, and Toffer might be a little banged up.
Man, great play. The sail right there on the handoff to Garrido, and he is wide open. Well into the red zone for the Knights.
1st and goal from the 9. Handed off to Garrido, looking for a hole. Now shoving forward. Well, that run had a little bit of everything. Patience, vision, balance, acceleration, and power.
A weird sequence the last couple minutes. Ashenfelder leaves. I don't know if he got the wind knocked out of him or a shoulder, but the next play, interception. And right back down the field, they're knocking on the door.
2nd and goal from the 3.
Flag on the play. It's going to go against the
movement
defensive offside
on Ponte Vedra. So half the distance. They'll step off about a stride, maybe stride and a half, and it'll be 2nd and goal from inside the 2.
See if this Ponte Vedra defense can hold. In a tough spot here. They had Harrison hemmed in last time.
Garrido this time pushed back before he gets to the goal line, and you see a penalty marker thrown over on the far side. Ball start against Creekside. So a 5-yard penalty.
from the 7-yard line.
And you can make the case that it's basically the same kind of penalty as Ponte Vedra had. It cost Ponte Vedra a step and a half, and it cost Creekside 5 yards.
Last time Creekside was knocking on the door, they had Garrido hemmed in the backfield perfectly, and he broke 2 tackles and made it in the end zone. You got to play perfect down here. And Ponte Vedra's got the size on this defensive line to hold up.
And they're going to talk about it here. Timeout called with 7:46 remaining before halftime. In a key moment in this first half, with Creekside threatening to tie the game. Yeah, you've got that big senior-laden offensive line for Creekside and a powerful defensive front for Ponte Vedra, although they're playing today without J.P. Dolan, their junior defensive tackle. He has an ankle injury. So instead, we're seeing more of 92 Reese Beck, who's only 6'6", 240, and is a member of the 1,100-pound club, weightlifting in the weight room. So the strength of this team, the defensive front for Ponte Vedra.
Now is a good time to remind you that, hey, we have got a lot more high school football coming up later tonight at 10:30. It's our Varsity 4 high school football show on Channel 4. Tune in and see the best highlights from around the area, plus highlights from this game of the week that you're watching right here. That's tonight at 10:30 on Channel 4.
What are your plans for the playoffs, Justin?
Playoffs? Are we talking
playoffs?
We talking playoffs yet? Man, it is about that time, Cole. I can't believe playoffs are just 2 weeks away.
Garrido next to Assenfelder. They'll pitch it back. This is Caleb Taylor Birch, and he's hit and dropped for a loss. Creekside tried to get a little fancy there, and it winds up costing them some yardage. A little surprised about that.
Yeah, I think you run it straight ahead with Garrido like you've been doing. Don't do too cute. This is always a tough area to score in anyway. Don't make it any harder than it is.
Now on third down. Ashenfelder to throw. Fires short. Underneath. It is caught inside the 5. And Taylor Birch falling back. And now here we go to about the 3-yard line, just inside the 3. It's 4th and goal. Creekside almost certainly going to go for it here. Well, you've got some options. Garrido certainly right there at the top.
It's a big defensive front you're going against.
And it's Ashenfelder taking it himself, and he's in for the touchdown. Sean Ashenfelder, the quarterback keeper, and we're a point away from tying it up. Ashenfelder was thrown down hard at the end, and some tempers flaring here in the end zone in the second quarter.
I think it was the effect of the player falling on Sean at the end of that play, almost like what we've seen in the NFL with you can't bring your body weight down on the quarterback when you're going to the ground. I think that is going to go against Ponte Vedra after that play.
It'll be assessed on the kickoff. Take another look at Ashenfelder with a touchdown run. Ran behind Garrido that time. Then right at the end here, Pollock falls on him, and that'll get all the offensive players' attention. Sean McIntyre, the head coach of Creekside, just raving about what kind of a leader Ashenfelder is. Here's the extra point blocked.
That could be a big play come fourth quarter of this game.
No doubt about it. So 14-13. Take another look from behind. And there was Riker Kemp.
Man, he is such a ball player. Seen Riker Kemp 2 games, man, and he has been impressive each time out. He's such a big body. Lacrosse player as well, but man, he is a great football player on this defensive line for the Sharks. A big body. Had the hit of the game on Jaden Weatherly in week 2 in that Bartram Trail game, and he comes up big there, hopping up to block a PAT. And in a series where it's been tight game after tight game, Cole, that could be huge. I have to look towards last week. It was a 1-point game. The PAT could come in handy late in this one.
Yeah, Kemp had 3 sacks against Menendez earlier this year. Came in today with 9. I think he'll get half a sack for the earlier play. So approaching double figures in terms of sacks. And they're taking the water break here at 6:31 to play in the second quarter with Ponte Vedra up by a point.
We love talking high school football, and the Varsity Ford podcast is where you hear a lot of it. Stay connected to the area comings and goings in the Varsity Ford podcast. Each week, Sponge Franklin and I bring you high school football analysis, game previews, and local insight that you can only find here.
Onside kick by Creekside, and the Knights say they recovered, and they do. So after getting the extra 15 yards after the penalty, a lot less risk with that onside kick, and it was perfectly executed by Creekside.
Every time I see an onside kick like that, reminds me of Craig Howard at the Nice days. He was the master of the onside kick, calling them when you least expected them, and so many times they would recover them. Matt Toblin has kind of kept that going at Bulls, but every time I see an onside kick reminds me of those Craig Howard days at Nice.
Camden Bowers with the recovery. So Creekside trying to steal a possession here. First and 10 from the Ponte Vedra 35. Ashenfelder rolling out. Throwing deep as a man and just could not quite get it to him.
Incomplete. Second down and 10.
Take another look here. Ashenfelder rolling out to his left and a body right in front of him. Had to work around 6'6" Reese Beck. And that's why the throw was inaccurate.
I think if Sean had a chance to set and plant, that would have been an easy completion, but he was rolling away.
Garrido on second down. So we've started to see a pattern here. Deep throw on first down, give it to Garrido on second, and then see where you are. Probably 4-down territory right here.
That was the play that Creekside just ran before that run. Man, that was such a beautiful play call, and I think if Sean had a little bit more time to set, that would have been an easy completion, but he was rolling out, flushed out of the pocket. Credit that Ponte Vedra defense for making that a tough throw and a bad look for Sean, but man, that play looked good.
3rd down and 9. They bring Garrido in motion. Ashenfelder in trouble, being chased, gets away, throws deep, and again, too wide, incomplete.
Lucky to get that one away and not get dropped in the backfield for about a 10-yard loss. That athleticism of Sean Ashenfelder, such a good dual sport athlete. 2 chances to get him right there. He just gets it away. Playing hurt too, so what a play there by Sean to keep that play going and not take a negative play there.
Reese Beck once again was chasing after him. Those two have become well acquainted here in the first half. Fourth and 9, and as mentioned, 4-down territory here would be a little too long for a field goal likely. Evan Marchard is a range out to maybe 38-40. Quick throw left side, incomplete. Tried to get it to Mike Bysham. So Bysham, who is playing football for the first time in his life, organized football, a baseball teammate of Ashenfelder. And they tried to get it to him here on 4th down, but a busy area with those Ponte Vedra defenders. So it's back over on downs to Creekside, or rather to Ponte Vedra. You would think that Creekside might have to be about as precise as they can, the way that Ponte Vedra is going offensively. They've made some plays, forced a couple of turnovers, but trailed by 1.
Ponte Vedra has played extremely well. I mean, self-inflicted mistakes are the story of this game. 2 turnovers, a fumble, and a pick. Otherwise, this game could already be out of hand. I'll tell you, Cole, we've had some exceptional games of the week, and we're almost through a half of this one, shaping up to be the exact same.
Drew Price from the shotgun will hand it off to Brian Case. Case wrapped up and pushed back. Luke Milliner among those there making a stop. We mentioned 20 seniors on this Ponte Vedra team enjoying senior night. There are 29 seniors on the Creekside team. So both of these teams led by their experienced class. Hasn't always been the case this year. We've talked to a lot of coaches who have thinner senior classes, perhaps impacted by the pandemic year. These two schools have very impressive classes. Price going deep on this one, and it's caught. Jack Berquist hauls it in. Big gainer for the Sharks into Creekside territory.
Good play. The long ball has made an appearance tonight. Not a lot of connections, but it hits there. Good separation. Good throw, too.
Jackson Earl was the defender. He seems to have found himself in the middle of just about everything so far tonight.
Jack Berquist has made 2 big grabs tonight for the Sharks. And without Jackson Earl there, he takes that one in the end zone without much apprehension at all.
Ponte Vedra has looked impressive. Now Price wants to see the play clock reset. Instead, a timeout called by Ponte Vedra. We mentioned Ponte Vedra number 7 in the News 4 Jack Super 10. 7-2 on the season, and in good shape. They'll make the playoffs. Some of what happens elsewhere could impact seeding, as you mentioned, Justin. But going into this game, Steve Price just thinking, all right, we're going to go out, play our game, do our thing, and not worry about anything else. It's been a good season, Price said. They came a couple of points short of being a district champion. And playing in a game like this against Creekside at the end of the year says anytime you play a school in northern St. Johns County, there's bragging rights. They play hard every single game, every single play. That's what he's expecting, and that's what we've gotten so far.
Such good quality football in St. Johns County, and this year has been exceptional.
A lot of movement here before the snap for Price in an empty backfield. Fakes right, goes left. Keeps it himself. Now cuts it back and gains 4, maybe 5. Close to the 15-yard line. This Creekside defense has allowed some yards and points this year. They're, of course, one of the pitfalls of playing a full-strength Mandarin at the beginning of the year. Those numbers got inflated, but they're allowing 421 yards and over 38 points per game, so they're used to playing in track meets. That's what we're getting here. Case hit in the backfield. Down he goes.
Case brought down in the backfield. Number 11.
Colton Lavelle with the tackle, the senior middle linebacker.
Good play by this Creekside defense. You can stop them at the line. I think that is a win if you can just change that play in the backfield, make them uncomfortable.
Lavelle with his 4th tackle for loss on the season. Price to throw it. Slant, caught. Inside the 10, rolling down is Tietze.
33, Luke Milner on the stop for the Knights.
Tietze just seems to find the soft spots. He has such a feel for running routes.
It's 1st and goal from the 7.
Saw him have a heck of a game in week 2 against the Bears.
Just a sophomore, too.
And I still remember the catch and spin move for a touchdown by Cam Tietze against Bartram.
Price with Case next to him. Case into the 5 and into the end zone.
To the 1-yard line.
Nope, they're going to mark him just shy. Just shy inside the 1.
I think, Cole, it's time for my weekly. If you started Brian Case in fantasy football, I think you're in pretty good shape. He's knocking on the door of his 3rd touchdown of the half. It's on my project list for next year to get a fully running and operational fantasy football league going. Still waiting to hear back from BetMGM on the legality of it.
I'm sure they'll get right back to you. Case now in the Wildcat formation. Takes it himself and leans to the end zone. Touchdown, his 3rd of the half. Ryan Case has been tough to stop, as has this Ponte Vedra offense.
And really, the only issues they've had is hanging on to the ball.
2 turnovers, the fumble, and the interception. Otherwise, they ended everything else in pay dirt. Here's Noah Ash on to attempt his 3rd extra point of the ball game. And the kick is right through there and good. 21-13. Ponte Vedra with the lead. 2:03 to play, so Creekside's going to need to make some plays here in the closing minutes of the half to try to keep it close.
Kind of as expected. High scoring, back and forth game so far between these two St. Johns County rivals. The same age, came in 2008. And they are giving us a good one tonight. Good time to remind you that we've got some Jaguars football after high school football tonight. Join Jamal St. Cyr and Frank Frangie for Teal the Show on Channel 4. That's coming up tonight at 11:20.
During halftime,
Vedra has looked very impressive.
Just what you want to see as you head to the playoffs. You're going to have a bye week next week. Not a lot of teams playing in that additional week, at least Florida teams in our coverage region. Bartram Trail Nice kind of the headliner. Of course, we have the Sunshine State Athletic Association playoffs going on. A lot of local teams involved in that. Paxton, Stanton, Interlochen, West Nassau, Fernandina Beach, Christchurch. A lot of good local teams in that aspect next week. But for FHSAA teams in the playoffs, they get a week off next week, and then the dance begins as brackets come out next Friday and Saturday.
See if Ashenfelder and Creekside can score here before the half. Quick throw to the far side, caught by Caleb Taylor Birch, who gained 6, maybe 7. I wonder if, given the opportunity with the time machine, the FHSAA would have continued to give that extra week off, because most of the teams decided to, instead of rescheduling games, just rest up. Ashenfelder throwing and caught by Bisham, and the baseball teammates connect there.
I do think going forward, even probably next year, I do think that weather week will be baked into the regular season as opposed to the postseason like it was this year.
I'll hand it off. Garrido pushing forward for a couple.
Garrido on the carry, stopped by 92, Reese back.
Yeah, you know, if you think about it, there are days baked into the school calendar for weather, particularly when you talk about hurricane season and so forth. Makes sense to try to do that as well, if you can, for football and the other sports that are outdoors. This one almost intercepted. That one was high, and Mason Houseman almost hauled it in. The son of the former JU baseball great Chad Houseman.
Yeah, and I think it's natural to do that. You know, with hurricanes and weather delays and everything, we had exceptional situations this year with 2 hurricanes. And you got teams scrambling to move games up in the week, try to play 2 games the following week, and it just doesn't make the best sense.
On third down, Ashenfelder throws to the far side, caught for a first down. Eros Toffer hauls it in. And the clock stops momentarily for the chains to move with 45 seconds left in the half. Ashenfelder on first down. Scrambling, he's going to keep it himself.
So good out of the pocket. Wow, so good.
I'm not going to make this comparison lightly or think that this is a one-to-one comparison, but he does give off some Josh Allen flavor when he's running the football from the quarterback position.
A poor man's Josh Allen.
He's a high school Josh Allen, for crying out loud.
The high school Josh Allen.
Yeah.
The Josh Allen in college. Yeah, he does. I like Sean. He's such a versatile, good athlete. When you see him playing on the field right now, you can't tell how good of an athlete he is. But watch him play baseball, watch him go out and practice, and you can just see the athleticism from this young man.
Fires one to the far side. It is caught at the 20-yard line by Rocco Ripa. That'll stop the clock momentarily. So Creekside on the move here before halftime.
Saw them last year play Mandarin and beat Mandarin. Loaded Mandarin, full of stars Mandarin, with Harrison Garrido and Sean Ashenfelder really carrying the team at the finish. And that Mandarin team, went up playing for a state championship last year. So this team has weapons. Saw it last year in that Mandarin win, and you're seeing this drive right here show just how capable and explosive this Knights team can be. Saturdays are made for sports on CW17. Watch action-packed ACC football, NASCAR's high-speed Xfinity thrills, and the latest from Live Golf. It's all happening on CW Sports Saturdays on CW17.
All right, they put 6 seconds back, or 2 seconds rather, back on the clock. So 22 seconds for Creekside to work with. You would think if they scored a touchdown, they'd probably go for 2 here at this point, but the touchdown is the first order of business for the Knights. They've turned it over on downs twice in this game. Probably 3, maybe 4 more shots at it here. 1 timeout remaining for Creekside. Quick throw right side. This one caught. Toffer stretching forward, and it gets out of bounds. 17 seconds left.
Got to come away with points here. You get that bounce in the second half, and almost kind of a poor man's scoring streak if you get something here and then stack a touchdown on top of it when you get the ball first to start the second half.
Aschenfelder to throw it. Fires left side. This one caught by Rocco Ripa. Tackled inbounds. Pollock with the tackle, and Creekside's going to have to burn their final timeout here with 8 seconds remaining.
Don't think that play developed like Sean McIntyre wanted. Too much field there when that pass was caught, and even if he made the beeline towards the sideline, no way Pollock was going to let him get out of bounds. Great tackle there. The next generation of WWE superstars take to the ring live each week in the CW's WWE NXT. Don't miss the action Tuesday nights at 8 on CW 17. Speaking of wrestling today, Cole had a chance to talk to Bill Goldberg.
Oh, yeah.
The Florida Georgia Hall of Fame luncheon. He is as animated and as well-spoken and an excitable personality as I pictured. He kind of has a hand still in a little bit of everything. Wrestling, TVs, movie. His son plays football. He said tomorrow's Florida-Georgia game's the first he's going to as a fan. So that's pretty exciting.
Aschenfelder with 10 seconds left throws to the end zone. This one is caught. Did he get a foot in bounds? Yes, he did. Arrows Toffer, touchdown Creekside with 5 seconds left in the half. What a catch.
Timing on everything. Great jump. He pulled it in, got his feet in. Creekside worked that clock beautifully.
Great drive by the Knights and a couple of terrific passes by Aschenfelder. And boy, what a job to get a toe down. Take another look there. Just did get that toe tap in.
What a play, man.
There's one thing to have close games. It's another to have great plays being made. Got both of them here. Creekside flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct. I don't know if something was said, but if they are flagging it for a celebration after a catch like that, it's crazy. So it'll be a longer extra point now for Evan Marchard. Any thoughts of going for 2 wiped out as a result of that penalty? This one will, in essence, be a 35-yard field goal. He kicks it through, but Ponte Vedra called timeout just before the ball was kicked, so icing the kicker here, maybe? You know how important every point is in a game like this. What a catch there by Arrows Toffer.
Man, that's gonna go on my top 10 list of catches this year, Cole. In terms of grabs we've seen in our games of the week, that is up there in my top 10, maybe top 5.
Well, the catch itself, just from a skill standpoint, is tremendous. The coverage was fantastic. There was very small window there to operate around Davis Latina. And then the fact that's happening in a rivalry game at the end of the season with playoff implications, at least playoff seeding implications, that is tremendous. So here we go again to attempt the 35-yard extra point. And this one is up and good. So a 1-point game with 5 seconds left in the half. And probably won't see an onside kick here again. but don't put anything past Sean McIntyre.
Yeah, probably going to boot this one and let Ponte Vedra nail it out.
Well, this has been everything is advertised. Before the game, I was thinking first to 35 probably wins. Maybe it's first to 40. Sean McIntyre, the hat turned around backwards. He loves to talk football. He is the son of a coach. He is a high school coach from the moment he opens his eyes in the morning till he lays his head down on the pillow.
Sean is a good guy. He coached Brian Braddock at Mandarin and then St. Augustine before getting his chance at running his own program. He has done a great job of making Creekside football relevant again after it kind of tailed off after former coach Greg Stanton stepped away, and it had some lean times before Sean was hired to take it over, and he has built something sustainable there on Longleaf Pine. A win over Bartram Trail this year for just the second time. First district championship in program history. He is doing something good that these young men believe in and bought into over at Creekside.
Here's the kick. Booted away. Comes down at the 3. And being brought back by Ponte Vedra. Jack Berquist returns it to the 25, and that's the way the first half ends. But Justin Barney, we have a dandy in St. Johns County between Ponte Vedra and Creekside. The Sharks with a 1-point lead in this rivalry game. The final Varsity 4 game of the week of 2024. Couldn't ask for more than we had in the first half.
It has been a great game to watch, great game to call, and we are set up for surprise, Cole, a great finish in our Varsity 4 game of the week. Seems like it's been a natural to say that each week, but these two teams historically have been fantastic, and they are treating us to another great one tonight through 24 minutes.
3 touchdowns by Brian Case for Ponte Vedra. Touchdowns on the ground by Sean Aschenfelder and Harrison Garrido for Creekside. And then Aschenfelder at the end of the half connecting with Eros Toffer with that great catch to give Creekside the momentum heading into the locker room. And we'll see how it all plays out in the second half. We're going to hear from Steve Price here in just a moment. Boy, talk about going both ways. It has been a track meet so far here in the first half. Let's hear from Steve Price, who's standing by with Elizabeth.
I'm Elizabeth Campbell with your Farrah and Farrah Sideline Report. Joining me is Ponte Vedra head coach Steve Price. So first, talk about how you can slow down Creekside's offense in the second half.
Well, they're very, very good on offense. We said all week, no lead is safe. I mean, they're a great offensive football team. I do like the fact that, we're playing them as we go into the playoffs. It's making us a whole lot better. They're a heck of a football team. It's been a great game.
And what about your offense? How are you feeling about your guys tonight?
Those guys are doing a fantastic job. We just got to protect the football.
Okay, thanks so much, Coach. I'm Elizabeth Campbell. That was your Farrah and Farrah Sideline Report. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah, no doubt about it. And this is everything you want in a high school football game. You've got the atmosphere, you've got the performance, and you've got the score. 21-20 at halftime. Ponte Vedra leading Creekside. We'll be back with the second half right here on News4Jax.com.
It's Friday night, where student athletes play with nothing to lose, chasing greatness, building bonds.
And whole communities come together under the lights to witness passion, pride, and moments they'll remember for the rest of their lives.
This is football, high school football. There's no tradition like it.
And we're here to support it. Farrah and Farrah is proud to sponsor Varsity 4 football.
A world of ideas comes to life through Gemstone Media. We blend picture and sound, persuasion and emotion, purpose and passion to brand your company and increase sales. We broadcast sports and train military and industrial personnel. Let us demonstrate the power of effective communication. On the air, online, on demand, on time, on budget, on point. Let Gemstone Media get your ideas turned on.
don't. There's no time for a weak link. The strong survive in the weak sink. Put your trust in me, I clear the pathway. Cause I don't do things halfway. Let's start the show. Fully charged. We just letting you know it's all or nothing. We gon' put it down. Are you ready? Ain't no middle ground. You in or you out. It's all or nothing.
And y'all, we might have this loud music
Back at halftime, Ponte Vedra leads Creekside 21-20 after a tremendous first half of high school football. Let's hear from the Creekside head coach, Sean McIntyre, who's standing by with Elizabeth.
And here's your Fair and Fair sideline report. I've got Coach Sean McIntyre with me here. So, all right, how are you going to hold off on the offense from Ponte Vedra in the second half?
Yeah, we haven't gotten any stops, only 2 turnovers, so kind of continue to try to disrupt the ball, obviously, and fit things a little bit better. Their offensive line is doing a tremendous job blocking us, so we're going to have to get up the ball and up front on defense and fit better from our linebacker position.
All right, Coach, and how are you feeling about your offense in the first half?
Scored 20 points, had some other opportunities, so they did a good job. Got to continue to move the ball. This will be a big drive coming out of the half right now.
Coach Sean McIntyre, thank you so much. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you. Go Knights.
And I'm Elizabeth Campbell. That was your that was the sideline report from Farah. And Farah, back to you.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. Well, it was a whale of a first half, and it started out with Ponte Vedra establishing something on the ground with Brian Case. Big first half for Case running the football, but as Sean McIntyre mentioned, the turnovers were about the only way that Creekside stopped Ponte Vedra in that first half. The Sharks offense looking very good when they held on to the football, and it was Case who carried 15 times for 103 yards and 3 touchdowns in that first half. But Justin, give Creekside credit, they battled back.
It has been really kind of like you heard Sean McIntyre say. They have done well on offense. They've done well in defense. You've got to just capitalize on each one, and man, they showed a lot of that in the drive in that first half.
Harrison Garrido, 48 yards and a touchdown in the first half for Creekside running the football. And we did see a couple of plays made defensively, but by and large, this was a first half dictated by the offense. Case with his second rushing touchdown there, his 7th 100 rushing yard game of the season. And Jackson Earl with the interception there helped setting up things for Creekside to come back and make a ball game of it.
Talk about a good game. Jackson Earl is a defensive guy for Creekside who called his name quite a bit tonight, and he has had some big plays.
Sean Aschenfelder with a touchdown, but the extra point blocked, and that could become a factor. That's the difference in the ball game right now, because Creekside was able to recover an onside kick and do something with it, as Aschenfelder tried to convert on 4th down. Didn't work there. Ponte Vedra came back with the deep ball. And a big catch by Jack Berquist, who had 3 catches for 31 yards in that first half. That set up the 3rd touchdown for Case. And then with time winding down in the half, Creekside went to work. And this is about as good a catch as you'll ever see. Hauled in by Eros Toffer to make it a 1-point game at the break.
What a throw by Sean, and man, Eros with a beautiful catch and toe tap to make it official. It's just one big play after the other by both teams tonight, and credit the Creekside defense for kind of standing tall there. I mean, Ponte Vedra had run up and down on the field on them, and those 2 turnovers really the difference in the game.
Again, the stakes for this game, both teams are almost certain to be in the playoffs. We know that Creekside is in as a district champion. Ponte Vedra had their resume good enough to get in, even though they didn't win the district. It's about positioning in one regard. It's also about momentum and giving something to build on for these two teams. Ponte Vedra has been on a bit of a roll of late after a 2-point loss to Fleming Island. They went through the entire month of October without a loss. Creekside beat Sandalwood last week 35-7 after they lost at Rains. So both of these teams building or rebuilding confidence as the postseason approaches.
You need this game. Both of these teams, even though you're in the playoffs, Creekside as a district champ, Ponte Vedra comfortably in as well. You got to improve your point standings, and a win tonight for whomever is going to do just that. And I'm talking not just keep you where you're at, has the potential to boost you up. We saw it last year when Creekside won this game, was the really the difference in being left out of the playoffs and getting up into a seed, like a 5 or 6 seed. And that's what this game did. Both teams tonight have that potential to do the exact same thing as Creekside did last year.
It could impact seeding, and that could impact if you have one or multiple home games in the playoffs as well. And we know how difficult it is to go on the road in the postseason and get a win, particularly if you have to leave the immediate area. Here's Noah Ash with the kickoff, and as usual, into the end zone for Ash. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for Creekside, and a chance to recapture the lead after a late touchdown. And what a turn of events that would be if Creekside can go down and get the opening points of the second half here. Again, we mentioned this is an offense that has scored over 31 points per game. My feeling right now, Justin, is that 31 won't win this game.
I think you're right. With how fast and furious it was in that first half, it is going to be a greyhound race to the end.
1st and 10, they'll give it to Garrido to start the half. And he runs right and gains a yard, maybe two. J.M. Pollock, who has been very active on defense for Ponte Vedra, makes the tackle. And Garrido with 48 yards in the first half. He's closing in on 3,000 for his career. And a little broken play here. Ashenfelder improvising, but cannot find any space. Martin Geary with a tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
He's a guy whose name we've called tonight and earlier in the season when we had a game of the week. Martin Geary and Riker Kemp, the two big names on this defensive line for the Sharks.
Geary, a Bulls transfer, going to Colgate after this his senior season. Third down and 6. Ashenfelder to throw. Has some time, now fires. Leaping catch made by Caleb Taylor Birch. Nicely done. A hands catch by Taylor Birch for the first down.
He went up high to get that one. Caleb's such a good athlete. Such a good athlete. Been part of this offense for 3 years now.
Fake it to Garrido. Now throwing. Caught across the middle. And
to
Rocco Ripa with the catch.
Jack Berquist on the stop.
Another senior, and a late flag thrown at the end of the play. Ripa signaling that it's against Ponte Vedra. Personal foul call against the Sharks. There is some energy on the field in this game. It does feel like a rivalry game. Quite a few years ago, there's a bit of a scuffle on the field between these two schools, but for the most part, it's been an intense but cleanly played rivalry through the years.
To push Creekside into Ponte Vedra territory.
Well, that's a big penalty there.
Justin, I think it's so interesting we've talked about some of the rivalries in St. Johns County to have, Bartram and Creekside, obviously, first and foremost. You've got Ponte Vedra and Nice. Those are the top rivals for these two schools, but this one is a close second, I think, on the football field.
Yeah, and I think Beachside will get there with potentially Nice or Bartram a few years from now. Menendez and Bartram, like Creekside and Ponte Vedra, came in at the same time. Menendez and Bartram in 2000 opened up, and you expected that rivalry just by the years they opened, the new schools to materialize. That never did. It's been more St. Augustine and Menendez by proximity. But yeah, this Creekside Ponte Vedra has been one of the best in St. Johns County.
Ashenfelder makes one man miss and then tries to push his way forward, gains 2, maybe 3 yards. Reese Beck again making a tackle. He has been a difference maker in this ball game for Ponte Vedra.
I love this Ponte Vedra defensive front. Riker Kemp has been so fun to watch. Martin Geary, so fun to watch. Just football players, hard-nosed, tough football players.
They're down and along 7. Ashenfelder with pressure coming, fires, and too far outside. Ripa lunging for it, could not haul it in, so it brings up 4th down.
Pressure on Ashenfelder, back-to-back plays. He was fortunate just to get the ball off. If you look at the pressure coming around on the backside, he nearly got walloped both times really that same identical play, had that rush from his blind side, and he was fortunate just to get that throw away.
I think it was Robbie Grieco, senior defensive end, who came roaring around the edge. They'll go for it here on 4th down. Ashenfelder to throw. Fires deep and incomplete. Trying to get it to Caleb Taylor-Birch, and for the 3rd time in this ball game, Creekside turns it over on downs to Ponte Vedra. Not the way Sean McIntyre wanted to start the second half.
Yeah, the way you ended the first half, and I was saying before halftime, if you could kind of scratch out the late points there in the first half, which they did, to get it within 1 and then come back, you get the ball first to start the second quarter and stack another one. That did not quite happen. So a good stop by the Ponte Vedra defense to finally deny Creekside something after such a good start.
Well, Ponte Vedra takes over with a 1-point lead. And they'll start from their own 36-yard line. Drew Price, 7 of 9 passing in the first half, hands it off to Case, who improves on his 100-yard game right up the middle, gains 11, and has a first down on his first carry before Colton Lavelle brought him down. Case has been impressive once again here this evening.
3 touchdowns in the first half. I would have been up to at least 4 had the Sharks not turned it over a couple times.
With his performance tonight, he's already gone past his number posted last year in the season. Running right again and picks up 6. Case last year ran for 1,165. This year he's up over 1,200 as a result of his 103-yard first half.
Multi-year star, really the heartbeat of this Ponte Vedra offense has been Brian Case.
On 2nd down, Price looking to throw, now will scramble, slides down, and should have the first down as he ran away from pressure. That was about the best pass pressure we've seen from Creekside so far in this ballgame.
Yeah, and great job by Price to elude that. Somehow he came out of that scrum untouched, and he gets down, but gets the first down. Great awareness and maneuverability there by Drew Price.
Price doesn't quite have the gaudy stats that Ashenfelder has, but he has been every bit as important to this Ponte Vedra offense as Ashenfelder's been for Creekside. This one thrown wide and outside. David Doherty, the intended target.
2nd down and 10.
Drew's father, Eric, longtime pro and college coach, was on the Jaguars staff a few years ago.
Been quite a few names to come through this program in terms of coaching. Bill Bates was a former member, a very identifiable man to see. His sons played at both Nice and Ponte Vedra.
There is Price on the quarterback keeper, taken down as he neared the 40-yard line. Wish you had Todd Fordham down there with some of his gaggle of boys before heading to Bowles.
Had Dylan Bates at Ponte Vedra. He's an excellent linebacker at the University of Tennessee, like his father.
Now you've got another one, the son of a former Jaguar, Talon Babin, the middle linebacker, and his father, Jason Babin, short-time Jaguar, long-time Philadelphia Eagle. Price steps up and throws and connects with his tight end Caleb Stanton, just the 8th catch of the season for Stanton, and the tight end has a first down to the 25-yard line.
Nice little safety valve there. Price avoided another loss on that play. Good movement in the pocket right there in the grasp, and he found his safety valve, the tight end.
Looked like Rohan Thompson got a hand on him. Tice Donnelly has been fairly quiet this evening. The defensive end for Creekside with 11 sacks on the season. But the quick passing game and the running game for Ponte Vedra has pretty much nullified the Creekside pass rush.
Which falls incomplete. Second down and 10.
This game has all of the atmosphere you'd want in a playoff game, and it's not in the playoffs.
I think what you heard Steve Price tell Elizabeth at halftime, this is what you want to see. This feels like a playoff preview. This is a game that you're getting that playoff kind of taste in your mouth of what it's going to be like a couple weeks from now.
Price to throw. This one caught. Spinning to the inside. Cam Teetsy. And pushed back at the 20-yard line. Sean McIntyre said this game is important for both teams. Neither want to be backing into the playoffs. They want to be peaking at the right time. I think both offenses can feel fairly comfortable in where they are heading to the postseason. Defenses might have some work to do.
I think that's safe to say. Ponte Vedra's defense has played well, I think, over the course of the 9-game season so far. Creekside's more confident and comfortable getting into a 45-42 shootout and saying, hey, stop us.
Give it to Case, running up the middle, inside the 15, down to the 12.
It's a gain of 4 and a Ponte Vedra shot.
First down for Ponte Vedra.
Time out on the field. Let's meet.
And offensive line for Ponte Vedra has done the job in this ball game.
Yeah, and we're talking a Ponte Vedra line that graduated their best player, a 4-year starter in Jake Warnera. He's at Michigan. And you lost tight end Landon Ockla to transfer. He moved out of state. So you're building with a team and you've continuity there on that line, but you lost 2 of your most important pieces, and you're still having that success with Brian Case and Drew Price leading this offense.
And the old saying is that the best thing about freshmen is they become sophomores. Well, these juniors are now basically playing like seniors.
That's right. Take a look at our Super 10 right now. A couple teams played last night. Rains won, St. Augustine won, Mandarin lost all last night, but Nice in action tonight. Bowles off, Bradford off as well. Ponte Vedra playing, Oakleaf playing right now, beating up on Turquoise Creek. Fleming Island beating Fort White, and Flagler Palm Coast putting it on Matanzas in the Potato Bowl. Congrats to Rains, first unbeaten regular season since 1997. They won the state championship that year with a 15-0 record under Welton Coffee.
Now, we saw Rains early in the season against Bowles, and we knew right away how good those Vikings were going to be this year. They have been impressive.
They have been as advertised, and I think the issue when you have super teams like that, and a lot of transfers into Rains this season, including Timothy Cole, probably on the short list for the Offensive Player of the Year honors. You have so many guys transfer into a team. You wonder how can you manage all these guys, all these new faces with the guys you had to blend them in together with. You always worry about that with the super teams. And Donovan Maslin and his staff did an excellent job of keeping everything right in front of them and all those guys working together.
First and goal. Rice throws to Case, going to the outside. Case is in. Another touchdown for Brian Case, his 4th of the ball game.
That's a good time to remind you that if you took Brian Case in fantasy football this week, you were probably in pretty good shape right now. Touchdown number 4 for Brian Case. That's 24 points just in touchdowns alone in the fantasy football aspect. 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 now through the air. And this has been a good night for Brian Case.
It's been a good month today for Brian Case. There are running backs who might go a month without 4 touchdowns, and Case is doing it all in 2.5 quarters. Noah Ash, extra point, up and good. 28-20. Ponte Vedra stretches the lead. And Case saying something to the official, who doesn't want to hear it from him. Case has been spending as much time in the end zone as he has anywhere else. 4 touchdowns, 3 on the ground and 1 here through the air for Brian Case. And I have a feeling we'll be seeing some Brian Case highlights coming up.
Yeah, our Super 10, which Ponte Vedra is a member of, at number 7. We'll unveil our Super 10 each week on Tuesday nights on the 10 o'clock news, so make sure you tune in. Probably not next Tuesday, since we have a certain election on Tuesday, but Super 10s every Tuesday night on Channel 4 and also on newsforjacks.com. We publish those every Tuesday afternoon, and catch them on Tuesday night on the 10 o'clock news.
So Ash with the kickoff. One of the strongest legs in the area, boots it into the end zone for the touchback. Well, the same question could be put to Sean McIntyre, as Elizabeth asked him at halftime. How do you stop this Ponte Vedra offense?
Yeah, and they have not been able to so far tonight. Ponte Vedra has been the one to stop itself with those 2 turnovers. Creekside has not stopped them at all. Ponte Vedra has halted its own drives, but man, both offenses have played really well. Creekside's been stopped on downs a couple times. Ponte Vedra's been stopped on turnovers a couple times, but other than that, it's been trips to the end zone consistently for both these teams.
Well, here's Ashenfelder in the shotgun to try to get something started here, down by 8. They'll hand it off to Garrido, running strong up the middle and gaining 6 on first down. Seniors up front for Creekside. Josh Kime at center, 61. You see 52 Eddie Clark in there. They've had to shuffle the line with the injury to Tyler Flack. Alex Brigman, Cole Anderson, and Isaiah Tyree, and quick throw to Caleb Taylor Birch, tackled immediately by J.M. Pollock, who continues to be all over the field for this Ponte Vedra defense.
Yeah, Ponte Vedra defense. We talked a lot about Brian Case tonight, but this defense so good at all 3 levels, especially that big defensive line.
3rd and 3. Ponte Vedra bringing pressure. Ashenfelder runs away from it, throws complete, caught by Caleb Taylor Birch. He has a first down past the 40-yard line.
Good blitz pickup there by Garrido. The pressure coming up the gut, and Garrido picked up that blitz, allowed Ashenfelder to get that pass off, and Ponte Vedra's brought the heat in this second half. Good blitz pickup and good distribution by Ashenfelder. Thread the needle and pick up that first down.
On first down, he'll look to throw. Ashenfelder didn't find anybody open, just threw it over the head of Rocco Ripa, incomplete.
Pass sails into Coach Papin's foot.
Probably the smart play there. Justin, I know the stories will ultimately be written about this season based on who wins championships. But now that we're coming to the end of the regular season, what stands out to you about what we've seen in the high school football landscape in the area?
Yeah, it's weird. It's because the last couple of years we'd had Suburban Metro.
Here's Garrido running. Penalty marker thrown in. Garrido has the first down if it stands.
The last couple of years we've seen Suburban Metro, so it's, I like to say, it's out with the new, in with the old, back with the system. And we've got all the teams playing back together again. Duval County teams, the St. John's and Clay teams all muddled back together again. So it's a return to the days of old. So it will be interesting to see how these playoffs play out with everybody back on the same dance floor. And I think the other aspect of this season is just seeing how those heavyweight teams, those blue bloods we had thought about, St. Augustine, Mandarin, didn't think Nice would have the season it had. Reigns, how those guys would perform, and I think really resoundingly the answers have been overwhelmingly positive for how those blue blood programs have responded to things like injuries like Mandarin has had to endure.
Hands to the face, the call against Ponte Vedra. So the drive continues for Creekside, now at the 29-yard line. Give it to Garrido again, dancing between defenders, breaks away, and just a shoulder pad tackle, keeping Garrido from racing to the end zone. Berquist in there playing defensive back, just got a piece of him. Otherwise, Garrido might have scored.
He's going to rip one of these at some point tonight.
First and 10 from the 15. Garrido again. Has 5, has 8, maybe 9.
Garrido on the carry.
So tough to bring down. We saw him in this vicinity before when 2 Ponte Vedra defenders had hands on him in the backfield.
The arm tackles just aren't going to do it.
Flag on the play.
He's not a burly, imposing runner, but man, he is so quick and tough to bring down.
Creekside will push them back.
I mentioned the game against Mandarin last year. I mean, Mandarin has some horses on that team. Our player of the year, defensive player of the year, Drake Stubbs, on that team, just monsters all over that team. And Harrison last year had so much success running right through those guys.
He averages 7 yards a carry this year, averages 133 yards per game this year. Ashenfelder off play action, quick throw. This one caught by Reed Long. Just the 3rd catch of the season for Long from his tight end position. And it's inside the 10-yard line now for Creekside as they try to hurry it up.
So 2 tight ends on the last on drive for Ponte Vedra. We had a tight end throw, and now another one. So the forgotten tight ends in the system get some targets and some yaks tonight with the run after the catch.
Ashenfelder will run it to the right. Got a block, but couldn't find another. A lot of black shirts in the area. And he's down to the 9-yard line.
On the stop for the Sharks.
Again, Riker Kemp there to make the tackle. Now it's 4th down, and considering the inability to stop Ponte Vedra's offense, I think Creekside has to go for it here.
He's gone for it twice on 4th down and been denied. You're at the 9-yard line.
Now they're going to bring the field goal unit in. Evan Marchard. This is a bit surprising to me, but I'll kick it to try to make it a 5-point game. Marchard's kick is up and good. So a 5-point game after the field goal.
I don't disagree with that decision. I mean, when you're going to have to go for 2 points at some point if you were at this pace. So I do think you get 3 back there. And then if you get a touchdown, you take the 2-point roll of the dice out of it. Now's a good time to remind you, we've got a lot more games going on right now than just the one you're watching. Hit that QR code on your screen and take a trip around the First Coast area. Highlights and a lot more. Just hit that QR code.
All right, so it's back to the old system. It's how the Blue Bloods have handled some obstacles this year. Individually, who has been the storyline makers for you this season?
Yeah, I think I know I touched on them a second ago, but Nice, I mean, the season that they have had has just been, say, out of nowhere for a district champion from last year. We saw Nice last year win a district championship, and a great story in itself this last season. But in 2024, Nice is ranked as the #1 team in the entire state of Florida in the Max Preps FHSA rankings points. I did not see that coming. Colin Drafts, what he's done over there.
Great job.
With defensive coordinator Ryan Garth and just a relentless group of guys. They're not major college guys at every turn on Nice. Shamar McNair, committed to Army, really good quarterback, and Nate Harry, receiver Maddox Spencer, linebacker Joe Miracle, but just a lot of blue-collar working guys, and they have turned in the season of their lives.
Price on the quarterback keeper gets a yard. Yeah, there have been seasons where a team locally has been considered the #1 team in the state, top 10 team in the nation, something like that. But those are expected guys with teams with all kinds of big-time prospects. To your point, what Nice has done this year has not been a fluke in any sense of the word. They just don't happen to have a bunch of 4- and 5-star guys on the roster.
You look at Nice this year, they're doing something that has not been done in a long, long time. The last time a Nice team was unbeaten at this point in the season was all the way back in 2006 when that Stakaitis, James Wilson, Zach Troney, those guys, Hunter Bates, all those guys were kind of the residuals from that Nice State Championship team, and they kept it going. A long time since 2006.
Price now on first down, won't get the snap off. Penalty marker thrown, and it will be offsides on Creekside. The minute 5 seconds to play here in a fast-moving third quarter.
And I think even to that point, Cole, when you look at St. Johns County as in its entirety, Nice, #1 team in the state. St. Augustine, state championship runner-up last year. Bartram Trail, perennial playoff team. And these two teams right now we're watching. Even Menendez is going to make the playoffs this year. So a lot of teams, even St. Joseph is in the state playoffs this year as in the Sunshine State Athletic Association. Great year in St. Johns County as a whole.
Price rolling out to his right, trying to buy time. Now he'll take it himself and will run for a first down. Yeah, the quality of football, we've talked a lot about it in St. Johns County, what it means, the support and the resources in that county. Going to be interesting to see how much that change as the population continues to grow in northern St. Johns County, if that affects things at all. It is a different feel for those who have not been onto campus for these high school football games. It feels different in St. Johns County than it does in Duval County, than it does in a private school, than it does maybe in a Nassau County or a Clay County game. They all have their own textures and personalities when you go to these stadiums. Sometimes they're different stadium to stadium. Often they're different from region to region or county to county.
Yeah, and you get that up a lot in Georgia. Mm-hmm. You know, with a big county like Duval County, you don't feel that as much. There are certain rivalry games, sure, that you feel that. But with the smaller counties, you really feel that. That's why Georgia football, if you go up to a South Georgia game, a Valdosta Lowndes game, or a Camden Brunswick or a Brunswick Glen game, you feel that there. And you get that a little bit in the St. Johns and Nassau County, Clay County games.
Price scrambling, now throwing back across his body. Catch is made, and it's a first down. Hauled in by Caleb Stanton. Second catch in this ball game for the sophomore tight end.
Second catch in this quarter, too, for Caleb. He gets it in to the Creekside side of the field, and that may take us right into the fourth quarter here after this next snap. A quieter third quarter than the first two.
And we thought maybe first to 40 would win after the first half, but both teams making some defensive adjustments at halftime that have, for the most part, paid off. Here's Price under pressure, trying to get away. Here comes Donnelly. Can't get him. Price runs for a first down again. Scampering to the far sideline as the third quarter comes to an end. It's a 5-point game. Ponte Vedra with the lead and the ball as we get set to head to the fourth quarter. Justin, once again, our Varsity 4 game of the week has delivered.
Oh, I think I've told you this, but we knew exactly when we mapped these games out that they were going to be excellent games each week. We saved the best for last, of course, the 21-20 game last week and 28-23 game now. So this can only be set up for a blockbuster final 12 minutes.
They have been great games, no doubt about it. And that balances this.
Now is a good time to remind you we've got all kinds of Jaguars coverage over for you. If you like to listen to it, that's good. We've got podcasts available wherever your favorite podcasts are found, like Apple or Spotify, Google or Amazon. And if you like to read instead of listen, well, we've got you covered there too. Subscribe to our News for Jags newsletter. You can do that at newsforjags.com/newsletters and have Jaguars news delivered straight to your email inbox. Not a lot of positive Jaguars news this year, Cole, and especially not after last week. And tonight coming up, we've got Jamal St. Cyr and Frank Frangie talking some Jaguars on Teal the Show. That's coming up tonight at 11:20 p.m. as they get you ready for the showdown as Doug Peterson returns to Philadelphia on Sunday.
And we get started in the fourth quarter. And Ponte Vedra will hand it off. Brian Case bouncing it to the outside. And dancing along the sidelines before he's pushed out at the 27-yard line.
And another Ponte Vedra Shark.
Case with a monster first half, 103 yards and 3 touchdowns. Scored through the air here in the third quarter. Figures to be a key player in the final 12 minutes for Ponte Vedra.
It's been far steadier this second half for Ponte Vedra. Much more controlled. No turnovers, almost a possession type game now after a track meet in the first half.
The toss to Case. Looks like he's going to throw it. He does. Going downfield, and this one is caught. Touchdown. Cam Teetsy on the halfback pass. Ponte Vedra with a little razzle-dazzle, and the Sharks extend the lead.
What a game for this Ponte Vedra offense. Cam Teetsy was the home run ball in week 2 when we saw him, and he just delivers what could be the clinching touchdown here for the Sharks.
Well, Brian Case has 3 touchdown runs, a touchdown catch, and now a touchdown pass. What a senior night for Brian Case for Ponte Vedra.
That's going to go in the huddle highlight film.
Ash with the extra point. He boots it up and in. 35-23. It is a 12-point lead. And this, Justin, is part of what I was thinking about when Creekside decided to kick the field goal rather than go for it on 4th down inside the 10-yard line. They have not been able to stop Ponte Vedra's offense all night long. I don't think field goals are going to beat the Sharks tonight.
No, and I agreed with it at the time. You want to come away with something on that drive with the point differential. It was an 8-point deficit there. You're going to have to go for 2 at some point. You get 3, but you got to do something on defense. Where was that defense that you had in that first half when you had 2 takeaways? Letting Ponte Vedra march up and down the field. That's been a soft spot for Creekside the last few years, is being able to stop teams. You could always outscore them, but that has not been the case tonight.
Ash to kick it away. Player that Creekside head coach Sean McIntyre said every school in the nation should offer this kid. Just a sophomore, and almost every kickoff is into or out of the back of the end zone. Also dangerous as a long field goal kicker and a punter. We haven't seen him punt tonight. It might not at this rate, but it has certainly been a player for Ponte Vedra that has not gone unnoticed by the opposing coach. All right, here we go. Creekside, their opportunities dwindling here, trailing by 12. We'll see what Sean McIntyre and quarterback Sean Aschenfelder can get going here from the 20-yard line. Ponte Vedra showing blitz. They'll hand it off to Garrido, and he cuts it back inside, gaining 7 on first down. You mentioned how strong Garrido runs, despite the fact he's 5'9", 185. He bench presses 300 pounds, and so the time he spent in the weight room is pretty apparent on the field.
Yeah, and he's quick, tough to bring down. Play I keep going back to is that play inside the 5 early on when he had 2 guys on him in the backfield and shrugged off those 2 guys and another 2 tacklers and barreled into the end zone. That shows you, hey, size important, yes, but man, that will and that drive and that effort, so important at the high school level.
Here's Garrido again, bouncing it to the outside, looking to get to the edge, gets a block, turns the corner into Sharks territory before he jogs out of bounds with another big pickup. Garrido nosing his way toward the 100-yard mark for this ball game. He averages 133 per contest this year.
Some score updates right now. Bishop Kenny up 35-14 on Providence. Menendez up 23-8 on Yulee. If those scores hold, Bishop Kenny, the likely district champ out of that district.
Aschenfelder throwing on first down, caught across the middle by Caleb Taylor Birch, and he's down inside the 20. Creekside in the hurry up here, knowing they need at least 2 scores, and it might take more depending on what happens with the Ponte Vedra offense. Garrido disrupted in the backfield.
On the carry, brought down near the line of scrimmage.
Carter Otteson was deep in the backfield. I beg your pardon, it was Robbie Grieco. If you go back and look at that previous throw by Aschenfelder. hard hitting going on out on this field in the fourth quarter. 2nd and 10. Ashenfelder on the rollout. Looking deep, throwing, end zone incomplete. Caleb Taylor Birch, the intended target, trying to make an acrobatic catch.
Caleb going to be in the trainer's room tomorrow taking some handfuls of Advil. He is taking a beating tonight. Every play he goes up, he takes a hit. When he catches it, man, he is leaving everything out on the field tonight. He is not a big player himself, and he is taking a pounding tonight. What an effort by Caleb Taylor Birch, even though he didn't bring that one in. Had a big catch just before that to get him down right outside the 20.
He's listed at 150 pounds. And this one incomplete. Try to get it to Mike Bisham. But if Taylor Birch is 150 pounds, every single pound of him is going to be aching in the morning. He has played a physical game. I mentioned earlier that Bisham playing football for the first time. He was talked into it by his quarterback, who also plays baseball with him. And now here's Ashenfelder on the run, sliding down just shy of the 10-yard line. Garrido is up to 127 yards rushing in the ball game thus far. So this one is another turnover on downs for Creekside. And I think Ashenfelder might have lost track where he was on the field.
I think so.
In the down distance location category. And now the clock really becomes an ally of Ponte Vedra. Ashenfelder objectively walks out to the sideline.
He probably thought it was 3rd down, and he had an extra play to run to get that first.
So Ponte Vedra will start it off with a handoff to Case. Bouncing to the outside. Case tiptoes the sideline as he crossed the 20. Put him out of the 22.
Needed something out of that drive for Creekside, and they turn it over in the fashion that they did. Unfortunate for Sean Ashenfelder and the Knights. Give it right back to a team you haven't been able to stop in the second half. You probably feel like you're going to get a steady dose of Brian Case and maybe an occasional Cam Titi mixed in.
I would be shocked if we didn't see Case 2 out of every 3 snaps. Here he is again, running to the far side. Has the first down, lowers the boom as he reached the 40-yard line.
To the 40-yard line, and another Ponte Vedra.
Case runs as strong in the fourth quarter as he did in the first.
And the Sharks are moving the chains.
Man, what a game for Brian Case. Career game, senior night, big rival. Not your biggest rival. Nice is your biggest rival if you're Ponte Vedra. But maybe your second biggest rival. You've thrown a touchdown, you've caught a touchdown, and you've rushed for 3 more. I don't know if Brian himself or his family would have picked out even better stats than what he's done tonight.
Impressive.
The thing we've not seen is Brian Case line up for a field goal or PAT.
And he's hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss this time. One of the rare times he hasn't picked up substantial positive yardage.
The loss of 4, 2nd down and 14.
4-yard loss on the play. Again, shy of the first down.
Colt Lavelle did let the tacklers for the Knights.
Let's see what they can do here on 3rd and 12 coming up. Probably will have to consider throwing the football at this point.
much time off the clock as possible.
It is a quarterback draw with Price. Hit behind the line of scrimmage by Luke Milliner.
Good stop by that Creekside defense.
Milliner's quite a story. He's been playing injured all year long. Had the option of having shoulder surgery and missing his senior season, or just playing through the pain. Decided he wanted to play through the pain, play a senior season. So he's just strapping it up each and every game.
Similar to me, Cole. I had a torn labrum back in high school, and to play through the pain is what I opted to do and became a sports journalist.
Well, maybe we know what he's going to do in the future. Here is the punt, the first of the game by Ash. He averages 41 yards per punt. Good one here. And on the return, it's Taylor Birch getting it past the 25-yard line.
So you've moved the ball well with your Creekside. You've had 3 drives end on downs, including the last one on a, I'm going to say Sean Aschenfelder mistook the downs. I think he probably had in his mind it was 3rd down and he was sliding to favor. Maybe he thought he was past the first down marker. So you've moved the ball, but you've come up empty on 3 drives. You are in territory now where it's must score on this drive or this one's over.
And must touchdown as well, not just must score, I think. So the opportunity at Ponte Vedra, rather at Creekside's behest, is to try to get the ball in the end zone, then get it back and do it again.
You've already got an onside kick back as well, too. Saturdays are made for sports on CW17. Watch action-packed ACC football, NASCAR's high-speed thrills, and the latest from Live Golf. It's all happening on CW Sports Saturdays, only on CW17. Can't believe we're in the final week of the regular season, Cole. Doesn't feel like it at all.
Well, it's still shirt sleeve weather, so it doesn't have that crispness that sometimes you get. And here is a sack. Aschenfelder down on first down. Carter Otteson, again, he has had his arms wrapped around Aschenfelder a couple of times in this game.
Perfect time for a big sack right there. It comes so close to pulling him down a few times tonight.
Aschenfelder runs away from pressure here on second down, going to keep it. And another hard hit, driven back. Talon Babin, the leading tackler on this Ponte Vedra team this season and last year, makes the form tackle.
Father Jason played in the NFL, including with the Jaguars.
On the sideline now as an assistant for the Sharks. Aschenfelder loading up, throwing long, and incomplete. Trying to get it out there to Toffer, and a penalty marker thrown right at the end. This may bail out Creekside on this drive. A little bit of contact, it looked like. Didn't see a major infraction. It's not on the first viewing. It is pass interference on Ponte Vedra.
Instead of facing a 4th down, going to get a new set of downs, and the pulse, however faint, still beats for the Knights.
We saw a come from behind win last week in our Varsity 4 game of the week.
And just about the same time window as well. All that action last week in the final 6 minutes.
Aschenfelder takes the snap. Throwing. Ripa goes out of bounds after about a 5-yard gain.
Push out of bounds by Latino.
There hasn't been a lot of success throwing deep downfield, but the intermediate passing game has been pretty effective for Creekside in this one.
Not a lot of long balls tonight. Maybe to see Berquist catch one for Ponte Vedra, but more slants and intermediate passes.
Ashenfelder being chased, fires high and outside, incomplete. Tried to get it to Ripa, and there was pressure coming from the backside.
Ponte Vedra has, when it has sent the blitz, it has been effective tonight. If nothing else, just to make Sean Ashenfelder have to get rid of that ball a fraction sooner than he intended.
There's Riker Kemp screaming off that left end spot. Got Kemp on the left side, Reese Beck on the right. Both are 6'6". Both have piled up the sack numbers this year. 17 sacks between them coming into this game. Quick throw, Ashenfelder. This one caught, first down. Able to connect with Garrido. You don't throw it to him a ton, but he is capable out of the backfield.
Good test for both these teams heading into an off week and then the postseason.
Ashenfelder to throw it on first down. Throwing deep and incomplete. Again, tried to get it to Rocco Ripa, who wants the penalty flag. Did not get one. He was covered by Davis Latina.
Second down and 10.
Just off target on a lot of these passes. Long. It looked like he had a grasp of him.
Little yank there.
A little grasp of the number 5 on the back of the jersey, so I could see why Ripa wanted that flag.
Give it to Garrido on second down. And we'll get a couple of yards. Riker Kemp with the tackle. Riker Kemp has been terrific every time we've seen him this year. I don't know if you've settled on your all-area teams yet, but he's got to get some consideration.
He has been fun to watch.
Quick throw left side. This one is caught. And Taylor Birch spun out of bounds at the 22. So a first down for Creekside with 6:45 to play.
First and 10 from the 22.
Creekside has been able to negotiate their way downfield. Ashenfelder looking to throw. Whistles blow, flags fly at the snap.
Start will go against the Knights. Be a 5-yard penalty. First down and 15.
Ashenfelder to throw it. Here comes Kemp. He steps up, avoids pressure, runs it, lowers his shoulder. Ashenfelder still on the move, spinning to the inside and down to the 7-yard line. What a run by Sean Ashenfelder right when his team needed it.
What a play. Such a good athlete. I said it in the first half, and I'm going to double down on he is such a good athlete, and you can't tell by just him handing the ball off, but the plays like that, you just see how versatile, how physical he is. You're a quarterback. You're not the most imposing guy, and he is inviting a defender to take him and challenge him and hits him head up into that play. Beautiful play.
We want to let you know that the clock on the screen is not accurate. It is frozen. We're inside 4 minutes to play here in the half in the ball game. Quick throw, Ashenfelder to the far side, hit the ground as it skipped into the arms of Eros Toffer.
Intended for Toffer.
That'll bring up third down. We'll try to keep you updated with that clock as best we can here.
Saw Toffer on this top side of the screen early on when he made that beautiful catch in the end zone and got his foot down.
3:47 to play in the ball game.
Florida Women's Law Group proudly supports.
And timeout called.
Need help with a divorce or family law matter?
With a touchdown here, Creekside would have some life. Then you're probably looking at another onside kick, Justin. We saw one earlier in the game.
Yeah, I don't think you have any other choice other than that, because Ponte Vedra, you really tried to kill clock last time and forced a punt. You're just trying to burn clock more than anything. And they would do that same thing if they get the ball back. And you've not been able to stop Ponte Vedra much at all tonight, outside of the turnovers. So I think you're definitely looking at an onside kick, although 3 timeouts, I don't know if you trust your defense to get a stop. Now is a good time to remind you that each week Sponge, Franklin, and I come to you talking high school sports, high school football. We have analysis, game previews, local insight that you can only find here. The Varsity 4 podcast. Check that out under the sports tab on newsforjacks.com or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. So this week, Sponge and I, with no games really to look forward to Friday, Cole, we're going to talk about our best athletes in football over the last 5 years. I did something similar to this when I looked at the top 25 years of athletes. Sponge and I are going to go back and boil it down to the last 5. Some of our top football athletes of the last 5 years.
You're talking best football players or the best athletes who played football?
The best football players in that last 5 year slice of window.
We've got some options for sure. We've had some great players come out of the area in the last half decade. Ashenfelder will run to his left, puts a head down, and is in for the touchdown. Sean Ashenfelder with a touchdown run, his second score of the game. And Creekside, for the moment, has some life.
That play and then the play, 2 plays before where Sean took it and ripped off about a 15-yard run where he had the spinning play and trucked the defender. Man, he is leaving it all on the line tonight.
Well,
dead in the water there in the end zone. You feel that man's...
They'll kick the extra point here. It's up and good. And so, 35-30
remaining in the contest
with 3:40 to play in the game. Onside kick coming here. It is all about coming up with this ball if you're Creekside. If you don't, somehow you've got to force a punt for just the second time in this ball game. Talking with Ashenfelder over there on the sideline. He has, we talked about Caleb Taylor Birch needing a handful of Tylenol.
Oh, poor Sean. He is taking a beating as well. Haven't seen Harrison Garrido as much this second half. It's been more Caleb Taylor Birch and Sean Ashenfelder.
Had to throw it more. And everybody should know what's coming here. Onside kick. Four players lined up to the right of Evan Marchand. 6 lined up to his left. The ball falls off the tee. Once again, the scoreboard, our electronic clock, is working as well as the kicking tee is right now. So we'll let you know 3:40 to play right now. We'll keep you updated as best we can on the timing here. I'll have to bring a holder now in for the onside, expected onside kick, which takes one of the hands team away. Marchand going to kick it deep here. He does. All right, with 3 timeouts. Creekside rolling the dice that their defense can stop Ponte Vedra.
You did last time, but I'm not too confident that was Ponte Vedra at full strength. I think they were just trying to chew up the clock. And you've had 2 takeaways tonight. You recovered an onside kick. Positives here are you have 3 timeouts left.
3 timeouts, but with 3:40 to play. A first down probably just about does it for Ponte Vedra here. Maybe 2 first downs. They'll give it to Brian Case as expected. Hit at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Saw Tice Donnelly getting up off the bottom of the pile there. So timeout Creekside.
You've got to stop them here. You can't concede a first down at all. Then the clock becomes your nemesis. And if you're Ponte Vedra, I don't know if I'd feel too comfortable punting it right back after a 3-and-out here, the way Creekside has shown the ability to score. An engaging and entertaining final Varsity 4 game of the week, 3:31 to go. The Ponte Vedra Sharks trying to hang on to this. The first down or two, Cole, I think would all but ice this game.
Price in the shotgun with Case to his left, gives it to Case, runs it up the middle, maybe a yard.
Picks up 2, 3rd down and 8.
Not much more than that. Sebastian Martin in on the tackle.
55 Rohan Thompson on the stop.
3:17 to play as Creekside calls its second timeout. Well, so far so good for the Knights. Exactly what they would want to happen. Little or no gain. Very few seconds ticking off the clock. Use those timeouts. Hope to get the ball back with a chance to win it here in this big rivalry game to wrap up the regular season schedule for both teams.
You take a chance and try and throw it here in this 3rd down play. We'll have highlights of this excellent Week 11 Varsity 4 game of the week and a whole lot more coming up tonight in our Varsity 4 high school football show. That's at 10:30 on Channel 4 or on newsforjacks.com if you're watching online. Highlights of this one, what the playoff picture looks like, and a whole lot more. That's coming up in our Varsity 4 high school football show. That's tonight, just about an hour from now at 10:30.
3rd and 8. You ask if I would throw it? I would not. I would run it, let the clock be your ally. They're going to throw it here, it looks like. Price scrambling. Throws sidearm. Catch made by Caleb Stanton. He's tackled out of bounds, and that will stop the clock with 3:09 to play.
Wow,
that's exactly why I would not have thrown it.
That's the best thing possible if you're Creekside. To me, catch that, you stay in bounds. But, man, I think that was not what Steve Price had in mind. I would have attempted to throw it too and pick up the first down, but the risk you run is what we just saw right there. You don't pick up the first, and you save Creekside a timeout.
Now, Noah Ash has a cannon for a leg. His longest punt this year is 60 yards, so we can really unleash it. The field position could be a factor.
Timeout, Creekside.
Creekside now will call their last timeout.
Not sure why you call it there. Set up for a good finish, though. Maybe you're thinking a fake punt, potentially.
Boy, that would be a roll of the dice. I will say that last year, there were some really aggressive play calls made in the game between these two teams. Ponte Vedra used 5 what you would call gamble plays, including a fake punt. They converted 4 fourth downs in the playoffs last season and overcame a 233-yard gain for Harrison Garrido.
About 4th and 3, it looks like.
And Ash will punt it away. Good punt. Taylor Bird's back at the 30-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 30.
Under 3 minutes remaining in the game.
With 2:59 left in the contest.
Let's take a moment to thank all of our sponsors.
Well, we have had some drama this year in our Varsity 4 game of the week.
Mr. Shelby's wigs.
And it's exactly what we're going to have here. A final drive.
Intrepid Private Well.
Maybe more than that, who knows. But certainly for the last 2:59, Creekside needs a touchdown to take the lead. A field goal does them no good. From their own 30-yard line, Sean Aschenfelder, who's thrown for 260 yards in the game, dashes away from pressure, going to keep it himself and run it, and runs out of bounds after a 5-yard gain, stopping the clock. They're going to put him down at just the 3, and went down into the bench.
Hopefully Sean O'Kay collided with like a Ponte Vedra coach.
Let's have a look here.
Ponte Vedra coach with the tackle.
Went down right at the feet of Jason Babin over there. And a player down for Ponte Vedra with 2:51 remaining in the ball game.
Can't fault the Ponte Vedra coach there.
No.
Your momentum, and you're kind of trying to brace yourself to.
Defensive end Robbie Greco, by the way, down here being tended to for Ponte Vedra.
It's like just cramped, hopefully. Getting stretched out.
Certainly what it looks like.
Hopefully Sean Aschenfelder okay after that collision. He was walking off the field, and he's been taking some abuse tonight, as much as he has carried that ball.
Yeah, you can see anybody who's had calf cramps.
The
toes curled up.
I feel for him right there. That is a pain that I don't wish on anybody. That is not fun.
Try to walk it off. Maybe you have a chance to get back in here the next couple of plays.
You're walking on your heels and trying to let those Charlie horses and cramps smooth out.
2:51 remaining in the ball game. A 5-point Ponte Vedra lead. And now the referee throws a penalty flag all the way over here in front of the Ponte Vedra bench, and he threw it with some verve. Sideline infraction. And if this is enforced as just a warning at this point. All right. Aschenfelder to throw it. Pressure comes. Gets away. Again running. And again runs out of bounds at the 45-yard line. With 2:43 left in the game.
Sean Aschenfelder doing everything he can to will the Creekside Knights to a win and a 6-4 regular season record before the playoffs. We got 55 yards to go. No timeouts.
3 receivers right, 1 to the left. The throw across the middle, a diving attempt made by Caleb Taylor Birch. He can't come up with it. 2:39 to play. That play took just 4 seconds. Ball looked like it was tipped by Talon Babin.
Nearly a pick by Talon Babin. I think he was surprised, stunned that it was between his arms. You could see him after the play gnashing his teeth on how close he was to a pick right there.
3rd down. Throw, second down, in and out of the hands of Eros Toffer. So Toffer made that unbelievable catch for the touchdown, but this one went right through him. 2:34 to play. Now it's 3rd down. Toffer seeing that one in his nightmares.
Trying to run before he had the ball, it looked like.
Ponte Vedra brings the blitz. They run the option to Garrido. Cuts it back inside, past the 50, and backs his way to a first down at the 45-yard line.
What a play from Garrido. We haven't seen him a lot in the second half. Been more Aschenfelder and Caleb Taylor Birch and the receivers. Possibly saving Garrido for a game-winning drive.
2:20 to play, clock running here. On first down, Aschenfelder throwing a long way across the field. Catch is made right at the sideline by Eros Toffer. And they say he came down inbound, so the clock will continue to run after the 6-yard gain. We go under 2:10 to play.
Clock not a huge factor at this point.
Ashenfelder gets away from pressure, running, and has the first down as he goes out of bounds. At 1:53 to go. Ooh, they did not give him a good spot. And he's going to be shy of the first down. Take a look here at this spot. See if it looks like he got past the first down marker.
Certainly did.
So 3rd and a yard with 1:53 to play. Fake it to Garrido. Ashenfelder hit behind the line of scrimmage. 4 Sharks charged and stopped him for a loss. Clock running under 1:40 now.
Martin Geary leads the Sharks tacklers.
You got Martin Geary. They're going to stop the clock for the moment with 1:35 to play.
Geary is the injured Shark.
Here is Martin Geary down on the field.
Big tackle by Martin Geary, one of the most consistent defensive linemen for Ponte Vedra this year. He's a run stuffer. He gets to the quarterback. I believe he had 6.5 sacks going into this game. He and Riker Kemp have been a hellaciously good tandem this season to front that defensive line. But a fantastic stop there. Actually lost yardage on that play. So one play to keep it going here for Creekside. The next generation of WWE superstars take to the ring live each week in the CW's WWE NXT. Don't miss the action Tuesday nights at 8 on CW 17.
Here we go. Or will we? Ponte Vedra calls a timeout. 4th and, let's call it 3. And this ball game is on the line with 1:31 to play.
So that questionable spot on the Ashenfelder run, we thought it was a first down. They spotted him a yard shy, and then the tackle led by Martin Geary, a loss of 2 on that 3rd down.
I'll give the officials the benefit of the doubt that Ashenfelder had the ball in his right hand and that it crossed the plane of the sideline behind him instead of in front of him. That's the only thing I can figure, because it certainly looked like his feet had crossed beyond the first down marker.
The replay booth in New York not working on Friday night.
Here we go, 4th and 3. This is the ball game for Creekside. Ashenfelder throws incomplete, and Ponte Vedra is going to hold on with 1:25 to play for the 5th time in the ball game. The ball turned over on downs by Creekside.
I don't know why you try and throw right there. I probably would have tried to run it again with Garrido.
Talon Babin having a hard time getting up off the field. Maybe cramps as well for the outstanding middle linebacker for the Sharks. What a game here in Ponte Vedra.
Garrido got blown up on the blitz pickup. I think he may have had to get rid of that one too quick, but too far for Caleb Taylor-Birch. Quite a few of those tonight where they were just past the outstretched hands of Creekside receivers.
It's victory formation for the Sharks.
Victory formation for the Sharks.
Don't forget, fans, after the game, we will honor all of our senior athletes.
And Creekside can do nothing to stop it here. Ponte Vedra will improve to 8-2 on the season, and Creekside falls to 5-5. And again, every loss Creekside has suffered this year has come to a team ranked in the top 70 in the state rankings. And that's talking about out of, 600 high school football teams in the state, something like that?
Quite a few to be in that upper crust, the top 50 to 60. Pretty impressive.
Well, a kneel down with 45 seconds remaining. One more kneel down is all it will take. Both of these teams will be heading to the playoffs. Justin, what is the impact of this ball game going to have on the rankings and placement for these two teams?
I don't think it's going to do much for either of these teams. I think Ponte Vedra is probably still comfortably at number 4, maybe a 3. And I think Creekside is still going to be in that 5 realm and potentially hosting a Flagler Palm Coast, barring something crazy in that district. Palm Coast, of course, holding on right now. Final score, Ponte Vedra 35, Creekside 30. Cole, what a good way to end our Varsity 4 game of the week coverage.
And what a performance by Brian Case. He had a hand in all 5 Ponte Vedra touchdowns in the 35-30 victory. 3 touchdown runs, a touchdown catch, and a touchdown pass to Cam Teetsy. Scoreboard here on our screen. Incorrect. 35-30 the final. And that's the way this one ends. It has been a tremendous year of high school football here on News4Jax.com. We've had some great games, and this one did not disappoint right down to the final minute.
What a good game. Both teams, and it's not a season ender. I think if you're Sean McIntyre the Knights, you would have liked a little more consistency from your guys tonight in the passing game. But 35-30, you're going to the playoffs. You feel like you showed something tonight. You got a couple takeaways, an onside kick. You'd like to have converted a few more of those drives where you had 4 drives that stalled on downs. But I think overall, you're probably happy. You're a district champ for the first time. You're going dancing. You may get a home playoff game, hopefully. And I think if you're Ponte Vedra, you're happy. You finish 8-2. You've got a loss to Nice, the #1 team in the state. Got a loss to Fleming Island on a walk-off field goal. So you've played very well, very consistent, and you could get a home playoff game.
And if anybody needs to question what kind of confidence this team will go into, ask number 7 if he's feeling good about things right now. Brian Case, the man of the night, 3 rushing touchdowns, caught 1, and threw a touchdown pass. Yeah, he'll probably need some time in the trainer's room, but he was unstoppable tonight for Ponte Vedra.
Only thing he did not do was kick a field goal tonight, Cole. And as many ways as you could score tonight, with the exception of defense and the kicking game and special teams, Brian Case did just that. Remarkable game on senior night for the sensational Ponte Vedra running back.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how it all lays out. Both of these teams get the opportunity to rest now for a week. They'll heal up. They'll look forward to the postseason. And we look forward to the playoffs as well. Always intriguing to see how local teams play it out here in the high school football standings. And when you talk about, as you mentioned, going back to the old version, the old matchups, a lot of them. We're going to see some familiar matchups in the brackets when they come out in a couple of weeks.
I'm looking forward to it. I love high school football. I love the playoffs this time of year. I like we have a little gap week next week to kind of catch our breaths and reset and assess what we've got going forward. We had 10 exceptional games of the week. We only had really one running clock game this year. 10 weeks of high school football games. So really good action. I'm not disappointed at all with what we saw.
Yeah, it's been terrific. We look forward to hearing from Brian Case here shortly, the star of the game for Ponte Vedra. And he will feel good about this performance on senior night. He and 19 of his senior teammates going out in style in the final regular season home game. The victory. Case was tremendous. 27 carries, 167 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Let's hear from the victorious Sharks. Let's send it down to Elizabeth.
Wow, what a game. Congrats, y'all. First off, amazing game. How are you feeling?
Feeling great. You know, we had a great week of practice, and it's all God. Thank you.
And going into playoffs, you get a little bit of rest, but how are you going to keep this momentum going?
You know, we're going to have a great week of practice next week. We had our best week of practice last week, I think, especially for offense. And then we're just going to continue to build on that next week, and then go out there next week, and then play football. So
good luck to you, and congrats again.
Thank you, thank you.
And Coach, how are you? You got to be proud of this one.
Oh yeah, I'm proud of him, proud of all of our guys. It was an intense game with Creekside. They are an outstanding football team, but our guys kept coming back. It was just a great high school football game.
What does it mean to win a rivalry game like this right before heading to the playoffs?
I mean, it's great. You know, it's great, and this game means a lot to us. It means a lot to our team and to our community, and to end it like this, the regular season is fantastic. Now we're on to the next season.
And going off what he said, how do you keep the momentum going into the playoffs?
If you can't get ready for it now, you just can't get ready. You know, our guys will be keyed up. They're really ready to go, and we're excited for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Congrats to both of you. Go enjoy and celebrate.
Thank you.
And that is the latest here from Ponte Vedra High School. That is your Fair and Farrah Sideline Report. I'm Elizabeth Campbell. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Liz. Yeah, a great way to go out for the seniors at Ponte Vedra. They'll be going to the postseason, and both these teams will be playoff bound, and will have a chance to prove it in the playoffs. For Justin Barney, for Elizabeth Campbell, and our entire crew, Cole Pepper saying thanks for listening and watching our Varsity 4 Game of the Week here on News4Jax.com.
It's Friday night, where student athletes play with nothing to lose, chasing greatness, building bonds.
And whole communities come together under the lights to witness passion, pride, and moments they'll remember for the rest of their lives.
This is football, high school football. There's no tradition like it.
And we're here to support it. Fair and Farrah is proud to sponsor Varsity 4 Football.
A world of ideas comes to life through Gemstone Media. We blend picture and sound, persuasion and emotion, purpose and passion to brand your company and increase sales. We broadcast sports and train military and industrial personnel. Let us demonstrate the power of effective communication. On the air, online, on demand, on time, on budget, on point. Let Gemstone Media get your ideas turned on.
And his mom, Solitaire, and dad, Mikkel, are accompanying him this evening. Cooper.
It was over, but I made it happen. I came up, and I'm still at it. Real true, baby. Really looking at it. It's like 20 million on a giveaway. Pushing, we ball like the mob. What you do is dog. Catch you with the dog.
Creekside. Bryce back. With a Ponte Vedra touchdown. Bryce's pass is intercepted.